Hong Kong movie I Am the Black Dragon King Part 6. In Chin Hai Lung's villa in Repulse Bay, in addition to the guards such as the beast servants and his younger brother, there are more than a dozen maids. Unlike people in Hong Kong who like to hire Filipino maids, the maids here are not only fair-skinned, young and beautiful, but most of them also have high education. Before coming to work as maids here, some were doctors, some were lawyers, and some were teachers. The main reason why they hired Chin Hai Lung as a maid was that Chin Hai Lung gave him too much and the salary was too high. Anyway, they were hiring people with money. Chin Hai Lung would naturally prefer to hire someone who looks good, not only as a maid at home. Even the cook is a royal sister in her 20s and under 30, and his life is becoming more and more luxurious. After all, money reaches a certain amount, and sometimes it is just a number for Chin Hai Lung. After getting up and exercising, as soon as he sat down to have breakfast, Jimmy drove to the villa. "Boss!" Chin Hai Lung nodded and greeted the cook. "Bring another breakfast to Jean-Mi." "Yes, boss!" The cook responded and was busy. At the same time, Jean-Mi said to Chin Hai Lung, "Boss, I received news that yesterday Uncle Yao met Song Zihao and Mark Lee at a Western restaurant in Central and had a long chat." Song Zihao, Mark Lee? Chin Hai Lung had watched the movie of his previous life and naturally knew these two people, but he still said to Jean-Mi, "Tell me about these two people." Before Tan Qing took over, Song Zihao was the apparent leader of the counterfeit banknote group. The electronic board of Yao Shu's counterfeit banknote group was made by Song Zihao under the leadership of the technical team. More than 3 years ago, Song Zihao went to Wanwan. Jean Mazai recounted the investigated information to Chin Hai Lung. After Uncle Yao called that day, Chin Hai Lung was not in a hurry to attack Uncle Yao. After all, what he wanted was the electric board, not Uncle Yao's life. The electronic board should not only be expensive, but also very compact. It can be hidden in any suitcase. If you really want to make a desperate situation, the electric board may not be accessible. While he was thinking about it, Chin Hai Lung received a system task prompt in his mind. System mission released: kill Uncle Yao and get the counterfeit banknote template. Mission completion reward: 100% loyalty of 30 Black Python servants. Hearing the system task, Chin Hai Lung thought for a moment and rushed to Mi Zai and said, "Uncle Yao, you will be fully responsible for the matter. I don't care what method you use, just get the electric board back to me." Chin Hai Lung has recently received several important guests from the mainland. It is impossible for him to focus all his attention on Uncle Yao. As the general manager of Helianxing, John Mazai is capable enough. One Uncle Yao can still handle it. Determined. "Got it, boss." Jean Mazai nodded and said, "Just leave it to me." After Jimmy left the Repulse Bay villa, he did not go out to do anything reckless. Instead, he first found Mark Lee, also known as Xiao Ma, downstairs of the counterfeit banknote group in Central. Xiao Ma was still dragging a bucket on the roadside to help people clean their cars. Although Uncle Yao had already extended an olive branch to him yesterday, his family knew about his family affairs and knew that Uncle Yao was not interested in him, but Song Zihao. He had always been Song Zihao's deputy in the counterfeit banknote group. He is not afraid of confrontation at all. But if he is asked to manage the counterfeit banknote group, he is really not the material for that job, otherwise Tan Qing would not be able to take the position in the first place. But he has wasted these 3 years just to make a comeback. Now this opportunity is presented to him. If he gives up, he will never have the chance to turn around again in this life. Therefore, he is also a little confused whether to accept the olive branch offered by Uncle Yao. He is numbly wiping the car while thinking. At that moment, a commercial vehicle stopped in front of him. The door opened, and Jean-Mi, who was sitting inside, waved to him. "Brother Xiao Ma, is it convenient for us to chat?" "Who are you?" Mark Lee said in a deep voice. We got in the car and started chatting. You will know. Xiao Ma, who once single-handedly killed the enemy of the designer brother in the Maple Grove restaurant, doesn't even have the courage now, right? Hearing this, Mark Lee's expression was slightly stern, his eyes narrowed slightly and he said, You are a policeman from Wanwan. Haha, if I were a policeman, would I still talk to you like this? Xiaoma, I'm here to give you a chance to make a comeback. The opportunity is now in front of you. It's up to you whether you want to accept it or not. When Mark Lee heard this, his eyes flickered for a few times before he resolutely got into the car. He was alone now and had nothing to lose except this life, so he had nothing to worry about. Now you can tell me, who are you? Li Mark Qa. My name is Li Jiayuan, and this is my business card. Jean Nazai said as he handed over his business card. Li Jiayuan is Jean Nazai's real name, but it is rarely used, so not many people know it on the street. Although Mark Lee didn't know that Li Jiayuan was Jean Nazai, he recognized the title on the business card. General Manager of Heiling Trading, are you and Brother Jianmi from Lianqing? You don't dare to call me brother, you are a senior in the world, just call me Jianmi. Jean Nazai said with a smile. After learning about the other party's background, Mark Lee sat up a little straighter. How popular Lianqing is in Hong Kong Island now, as long as he is involved in the world of Hong Kong Island, everyone knows about it. But Mark Lee didn't understand why he and Lianqing's general manager were looking for a little guy like him. Why are you looking for a cripple like me? You must have heard some rumors about the conflict between us and the counterfeit banknote group he used to belong to. I came to you this time to ask you for a favor and get the counterfeit banknote circuit board from Uncle Yao for us. When Mark Lee heard this, he was stunned for a moment, and then he let out a burst of sarcastic laughter. You guys may have underestimated me a little bit. No matter how unsatisfactory my life is, I still haven't betrayed the boss. Situation. Don't you want to hear the terms we've given? Zhang Mitzi said with a smile. No, please stop the car. I don't think we need to go on, Mark Lee said angrily. He is a traditional Jianghu person who values loyalty, otherwise he would not have gone to Wanwan alone to avenge Song Zihao. Although he was quite resentful and even a little suspicious of Uncle Yao, this is not the reason for his betrayal. Don't worry, before you refuse, I have something to show you. Zhang Mitzi took some information from the seat behind and handed it to Mark Lee. Mark Lee took the information with a hint of confusion and glanced at it twice. His eyes instantly widened. The content inside was about the time when Song Zihao was raped in Wanwan. The inside story of the ambush plot was very detailed. It not only pointed out who was behind the scenes, but also gave the reasons. What moved Mark Lee was that the man behind that incident turned out to be Uncle Yao, and Tan Chengit is the specific executor. The reason why Uncle Yao would do something dirty to Song Zihao was because Song Zihao had already had the idea of withdrawing from the world. After Uncle Yao's persuasion failed, he had the idea of getting rid of him. After all, Song Zihao had the technology in his hands. If he left, after that, he started a new business or joined another company, which meant that there were more competitors. Therefore, Uncle Yao conveniently framed Song Zihao for Tan Qing, who wanted to be in power. It seems that Song Zihao was also lucky, and he happened to meet a bad guy during the counterattack. Later, Mark Lee went to Wanwan again to kill the people there. Otherwise, even if Song Zihao went to squat in the kiln, he would probably die. After Song Zihao returned to Hong Kong Island, Uncle Yao did not continue to attack him. First, because of the passage of time, Uncle Yao felt that he had no threat. Secondly, the counterfeit banknote group was busy doing business with the Wenan gang at the time, so he didn't pay much attention to it. After reading these materials, Mark Lee could no longer remain calm. How do you prove that these materials are real? Although he asked this in his mouth, he already believed most of it in his heart. After all, he has experienced many of these things. He can find the answer with a little thought. Since I've shown it to you, there's a way to prove it. While Zhang Mitzi was speaking, he took out a handheld mini camera and handed it to him. You can take a look at the contents inside. Mark Lee turned on the camera, and there was a scene of the Black Python King interrogating Tan Qing. However, there was no figure of the Black Python King in the picture, only the process of Tan Qing explaining the matter. The previous ones are all about the secrets of the counterfeit banknote group. I guess you are not interested. You can jump to about 23 minutes, where you are concerned about the content, John Meetsy reminded. After Markley adjusted the timeline to 23 minutes, he heard Tan Cheng's account of how he framed Song Zihao back then and the suppression of him afterwards. Markley would naturally be in such a state of desperation that he is today. It was Uncle Yao who did this intentionally, otherwise he would have been Song Zihao's right-hand man at that time. Even if his leg was lame, he would not be like this. All of this was done by Uncle Yao secretly instigating Tan Cheng. Read Bao Shuang novels, just read it. Go to Phelan Novel Network, and do not kill him, just so that when you have to deal with Song Zihao in the future, you can start with him. After all, he is related to everyone knows about Zihao's relationship. If Song Zihao comes back from squatting in the kiln and wants to do something, he can follow him to find Song Zihao. This is indeed the case. If Uncle Yao hadn't been staring at him, how could he have known that Song Zihao had returned to Hong Kong Island? Seeing this, Markley's eyes were already blood red. He and Song Zihao worked so hard for the group back then, but in the end, they were tortured like this just because they had the idea of retiring. Tan Cheng has been killed by us now. Brother Heilung appreciates a loyal and courageous person like you. You must not want to waste time like this. As long as you are willing to cooperate with us, Brother Heilung will not only protect you in the future, we will also send you to a top foreign hospital to cure your leg injury and help you regain your former glory. If you don't want to hang around anymore, Brother Heilung can also give you a sum of money to let you live the rest of your life comfortably in any country in the world. You don't have to worry about me breaking my promise and getting rich. Brother Heilung's situation is not comparable to that of trash like Uncle Yao, and this small amount of money is nothing to Brother Heilung. John Meetsy smiled at him and said, So, what do you choose now? Markley was a little excited when he heard that his leg could be cured, and the following ones added more weight. Although he is no longer on the road, some relationships have not been broken, and he knows the reputation of He Lianqing. He Lianqing, although Xing is very strong externally, he has absolutely nothing to say about the treatment of his younger brother. Especially Chen Heilung's family has always been well known for its preferential treatment of younger brothers. I did this. Since it was Uncle Yao who was unkind to me first, don't blame me for being unjust to him, Markley said with cold eyes. So, I am waiting for your good news. After Markley and John Meetsy separated, they went to the taxi shop to find Song Zihao. Song Zihao, who was driving a car outside, heard Xiao Ma coming to look for him. He didn't care about the sports car, so he quickly drove back and asked for leave from his boss, taking Xiao Ma with him. Go to eat. Xiao Ma, if you want to eat anything, tell me and I'll take you to eat. We brothers haven't gotten together for a long time, and we have to stay drunk today, Song Zihao said with excitement. After meeting Xiao Ma in the underground garage that day, they only met once in a Western restaurant yesterday. However, Xiao Ma ignored him at all yesterday, which made him feel a little uncomfortable. Today Xiao Ma comes over looking for him made him very happy, thinking that Xiao Ma was finally willing to recognize him as his big brother. Don't worry about eating, I'm here to tell you something. Markley informed Song Zihao of the news he just learned from Shan Nazai. But what he didn't expect was that Song Zihao's expression did not change much after hearing the information. What's the point of saying this? It's all in the past. You know? Markley said suspiciously. Everything is traceable. I don't have any enemies in the first place. I won't tell you because I don't want you to make a fearless sacrifice. This is why I no longer want to have anything to do with Jianghu after I came back from Wanwan. Jianghu is not just like this. I am very satisfied with the current ending. I'm not satisfied. Why did they treat me like this? Now the opportunity for revenge is in front of me. I need your help. Uncle Yao values you more. With your help, it will be easier to get the electric board, Markley said angrily. Sorry, Xiao Ma, I no longer want to pay attention to the grievances and resentments in the world, Song Zihao said in a low voice. But you owe me a leg. Markley looked at him with red eyes. As long as I get the electric board for Kaishenlong, with his connections, he can send me to the best hospital abroad. He can cure my leg. I'm already a third-year doctor. I have been a cripple for many years, and I don't want to be a cripple for the rest of my life. If you are still my brother, then help me." Song Zihao looked at Xiao Ma, with a trace of underability in his eyes. He knew that his brother's character had nothing to do with whether he was lame or not. The main reason was that he couldn't swallow that breath. Even if he didn't agree, Xiao Ma would definitely go to Uncle Yao, just like it was the same as when he went to Wanwan alone to avenge him. It's just that he couldn't fight side by side back then. If his brother is still allowed to take risks on his own now, then he is no longer worthy of being the eldest brother. Okay, I will accompany you for this last time. The next day, as soon as Chen Heilong arrived at the warehouse, John Meetsy sent He Lianxing's account books for this month. Chen Heilong looked through the accounts and said, "John Me, call the uncles and uncles of all the halls of the society to hold a meeting and pay the fees." "Yes, boss." After Jean Mazai informed the bosses of each hall, he and Chen Heilong took a bus to the Heliansheng main hall tea house. When they arrived, many hall masters and uncles had already arrived. When they saw Chen Heilong's arrival, they all stood up to say hello. "Brother Black Dragon. Take a seat." "Boss." Chen Heilong nodded in response, and not long after he sat down, Big D brought Chang Mao to the main hall. Compared with the decadent appearance when Haojiang collapsed, Big D at this time has obviously returned to his original state. Although he is very convinced by Chen Heilong, he still can't hide his arrogant nature. After saying hello to Chen Heilong, he sat carelessly on the chair. Among the people like Lianxing, he was not convinced by anyone except Chen Heilong. Moreover, he is still thinking about sitting in the next session. He has missed several sessions and does not want to miss the next one again. He and Lianxing's seat is chosen once every 2 years. Last time he didn't get the seat, but this time he still wants to compete. This is a sigh of relief in Big D's heart. He must be the seat, but if he wants to compete, if he takes the position, he must strengthen his strength. Strength is the right to speak in the arena. Therefore, ever since he was severely humiliated by Mo Luobing and Haojiang, Big D learned from the painful experience and began to intentionally learn from Chen Heilong's path to success. Chen Heilong first started his career through smuggling, and he also relied on smuggling to become bigger and stronger. Although he cannot do the same smuggling business, he can do the number 4 business. The whole of Tsunwan has long been made uniform by him, but in the past he only let others put goods into his place, and he took a commission from it, and was not directly involved in selling. But now he has started all these businesses on his own, and it is quite big. He has cooperated with Zhu Tao from Shotan District and has spread his goods to many places on Hong Kong Island. Recently, he has been expanding like crazy, and the momentum has become so great. Extremely large, its strength expanded rapidly, and its reputation also rose. The source of Zhu Tao's number 4 mainly came from Bubel and the Golden Triangle. Big D took advantage of Zhu Tao's relationship and established an online relationship with him. Now he is also interested in extending his tentacles towards the Golden Triangle. He does not seek to achieve the level of Chen Heilong, but also hopes to have his own armed force. He is also secretly spending money. Qian formed his own force and armed forces and bought a lot of arms. After the news that Chen Heilong's men used rockets in downtown Haojiang came back, he realized the huge gap between himself and Chen Heilong. He felt that if he could also control an armed force, he would be more confident in doing things in the future. You can also get a few points harder, and you don't have to worry about being smashed on the head. The process of paying the fees is still the same as before. As usual, Qian is the first to step forward and pay the fees. After his territory has expanded to several streets in Simsha Sui, the number he pays every month is always among the top 5 in the club. Even more important than him is Master Su. After the increase in He Lianxing's business, the number of lawsuits also increased. His law firm has been expanded 3 times in a row. Now he has 30 or 40 registered lawyers under him, who specialize in helping associations fight. The lawsuit himself is also moving in the direction of a big lawsuit, plus some businesses on his territory, so the fees paid are naturally not a small amount. The monthly fees paid by Utubio and Tai Pahé are also increasing day by day. They spend almost half of the month in Haojiang, taking high rollers from Hong Kong Island to Haojiang Casino every day, and fooling around. It is also booming, and the monthly fees now exceed 1 million. In addition to the 4 of them, the number of fees paid by Big D this month has also increased a lot. But other than that, the fees paid by other halls basically do not fluctuate much. After everyone paid the fees, Chen Heilong looked around at everyone and said in a deep voice, "The fees have been paid. Next, I want to introduce a new brother to you." As he finished speaking, Tony walked away from the stairs. "Come up." Seeing Tony from the Yunnan gang appear, some of the gang bosses already had some premonitions in their hearts. After all, the close relationship between Tony and Chen Heilong has long been no secret in Hong Kong. Many people even regarded Yunnan as the gang saw He Lianqing as a non-staff member, but they did not agree with the Yunnan gang. Again, the local gangs were relatively exclusive, let alone He Lianqing, which had a long history. This is Tony from the Yunnan gang. From now on, the Yunnan gang will be officially merged into He Lianqing. We and Lianqing have never had a territory in Mong Kok. The joining of Yunnan gang this time has filled this gap. I plan to take out the Yunnan gang and establish Mong Kok Tang Ko. From now on, Tony will be the leader of Mong Kok Tang Ko. Hearing this, those uncles couldn't help but have some objections. In their opinion, the strength of the Yunnan gang is completely that of a small gang that is not considered popular. It has only 200 to 300 people and no territory at all. It is not even as good as fighting with the gang. Many of the small bosses under the bosses in Lianqing have a lot of territory and many subordinates. Each of these small bosses has 400 to 500 people, and they are in charge of a street or a few stores. However, the Yunnan gang has many outsiders because of the outsiders. Before that, there was not much substantial territory at all, and they could only do some smuggling business behind Chen Heilong. Although He Lianqing did not have a gang in Mong Kok, but the Yunnan gang has such strength to become a new gang, it's a bit of a joke. But Chen Heilong's attitude today is obviously to promote Tony. With his authority in He Lianqing, no one who doesn't open his eyes will say anything now. Even if he has some thoughts in his heart, he will hold them back. After Chen Heilong looked around at everyone for a long time, he saw that no one said anything, so he said, "Since everyone has no objections, then the matter has been settled." Later, Zhan Mi will report to He Lianqing in the name of He Lianqing. The Jianghu comrades informed. No matter which society has a new hall established, it needs to be informed to the comrades. This not only shows the strength, but also makes the ownership clear, so as to avoid any misunderstandings. After announcing the news, the meeting came to an end, and the uncles and uncles of the various halls came to an end. He stood up to say goodbye and left. After everyone had left, Chen Heilong sat at the front seat. At this time, Tony suddenly came to Chen Heilong and knelt straight in front of him with a plop. "Brother Heilong, from now on my life, Tony's, is yours. From now on, if you asked me to go east, I will never go west." At this time, Zhan Mitzi came over with a teacup. Tony took the teacup off the tray, raised his hands above his head, bowed his head respectfully and said, "Brother Heilong, please use tea." Chen Heilong nodded, took the teacup, took a sip, and then put down the teacup. Tony's kneeling down on his knees to serve tea was considered to be a sign of respect to the elder brother. Hong Kong society is very strict about the superiority of elders and younger ones. Following the Hongmen tradition, every club member has a seniority. Because Tony is from Yunnan, there is no seniority in the Hong Kong community. This time he became a disciple of Chen Heilong, and he will be regarded as Chen Heilong's disciple from now on. Chen Heilong finished drinking after tea. He stood up and patted Tony on the shoulder, saying in a leisurely tone, "Everyone in the world says that your Yunnan gang likes to take advantage of others. I don't care what happened before. But today, since you have become my disciple, Chen Heilong, you have to be loyal to me. If you dare to have second thoughts, you have to give it a try. 6 holes in. I dare not. I will be loyal to you, boss." When Tony said this, he subconsciously glanced at the Black Python King who was standing not far from Chen Heilung. After meeting the Black Python King's emotionless eyes, he immediately shuddered. He is such a person. He has a strong nature and is in awe of Chen Heilung from the bottom of his heart. Otherwise, he would not want to join He Lianqing and embrace Chen Heilung. After leaving He Lianqing's main hall, Tony drove the sports car back to the Mong Kok villa. When he got home, two brothers, Ah Jia and Ah Hu, were chatting and sunbathing with their mother in the garden by the swimming pool. "Mom, this is your favorite fruit. Would you like a piece?" "No, I won't eat. I want to go find my son." "Why are you stopping me from seeing my son? We are your sons." Azza squatted next to the wheelchair and said with a smile. "No, my son is not as old as you. I want to see my son." Okay, please finish this fruit first, and then we will take you to find your son, okay?" Tony, who came back from outside, interrupted. "And who are you?" Mom asked. "I am your son's teacher. I will take you to your son after you finish eating the fruit, okay?" Tony said. "This is what you said, you must take me to find it after eating." "No problem." Tony smiled. Seeing that his mother was still unwilling to eat fruit, Azza stood up and said, "You still have a way. Mom is confused now, don't be stubborn with her, just follow her words and coax her," Tony said. "By the way, how was your discussion with Lianqing today? Did you encounter any difficulties?" Azza asked. "No, with the power of Brother Heilung, who would dare to say anything to Lianqing? From now on, we will change our affiliation and become a member of a large society like He Lianqing. Our Yuan and gang will also be officially changed to He Lianqing Mong Kok Tong," Tony said proudly. "Brother, go and inform your friends on the road that we will hold a host banquet tomorrow to spread the news that we have joined He Lianqing." "Okay," Ah Jia said excitedly. "Leave this matter to me." The next day, the three Tony brothers and their younger brothers held a banquet at Yongxing Restaurant in Mongkok. Yongxing Restaurant is one of the best restaurants in Mongkok. The starting price of a banquet here is several thousand. Today the three Tony brothers booked the entire restaurant and set up 50 or 60 tables. The cost of the banquet alone for this night was hundreds of thousands. Corresponding to the cost, the quality of this restaurant, although in terms of the reputation here is not as good as Seafood Treasure Square and Yaguchi Restaurant, but for some gourmets, this place is no worse than the previous two. Especially the Cantonese cuisine made by this restaurant is quite famous in Hong Kong Island. Today, there is a display at the entrance of this restaurant. There were a large number of flower baskets with congratulations written on them, and Tony's brother invited the lion dance team to perform, which made the scene very lively. However, the foundation of the three brothers on Hong Kong Island is relatively shallow after all, unlike most clubs on the road. Their friendship is not very good, so this scene looks quite lively. In fact, most of the flower baskets and so on are sent by the younger brothers. But no matter how popular they are, there are still big bosses who come to congratulate them. "Congratulations!" A bald man and a short man with long hair came over to congratulate each other. "Bald brother, heroic brother, you're welcome, please come in," Tony greeted. "A little care is not disrespectful." The bald man and the hero asked their younger brother to deliver the flower basket, and then took out the red envelope from their pockets and stuffed it into Tony's hand. The two big guys who came to congratulate were both in Mong Kok like them. Before they rose, Baldhead, Dashia and Four Eyes, these three people can be regarded as the little bosses in Mong Kok. Because the three of them like to hang out together, so even though the three of them are just the little bosses in Mong Kok, their right to speak in Mong Kok is not weak. They stick together. The strength is not small. In the past, it was not comparable to a small force like the Yuan gang. It was considered a representative of a local gang. In the past, the territory of the Yuan gang was in contact with the territory of the three of them. Although the three of them, the territory is also on the edge of the city, but it is much better than the Yuan gang's territory in the suburbs. The most important thing is that it is a local gang, which is very nourishing and has the right to speak. But since the three brothers followed Chen Heilung and made a lot of money, the three brothers followed. The younger brothers who have been working together have also gained a lot of money. These days, if you have breasts, you are a mother. The three Tony brothers can lead people to make money, and their reputations have also become famous. Although the bald heroes came to congratulate them today, they are actually not very happy in their hearts. Taste. To read exciting novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. After all, they didn't look down on the three brothers before, and because the Hong Kong gangs are xenophobic, they also looked down on the three brothers. If they did what they did, it wouldn't take long for them to be thrown into the sea by the Hong Kong community. Unexpectedly, not only did they sneak out, but they also hugged Chen Heilung's lap, which made them envious and slightly jealous at the same time. They have been living in Hong Kong Island for so many years, but it doesn't matter if they are either good nor bad. Now the three Tony brothers have come to the fore. Not only do they earn more than them, but they have also become the boss of Helianqing. It is foreseeable that behind the scenes, depending on the big tree of Helianqing, the Yuan gang will probably get bigger and bigger in the future. But no matter what they think in their hearts, they have to live up to their reputation. Today, I would like to congratulate the two of them for preparing red envelopes of 18,000 and 80,000 each. This number is for it may not be a big deal to the three Tony brothers today, but it is already a big deal to the two of them. The two of them walked upstairs and chatted. How many red envelopes do you think Cyan will give them? The hero asked. How do I know? I can just wait and ask. Baldhead replied. That guy is also weird. I called him before I came, thinking about making an appointment to come together, but the guy didn't answer the phone at all. Hearing this, the hero said, Do you think that guy won't come? No, no matter what, everyone hangs out in Mongkok. It would be a shame if you don't come. It's hard to say. The hero curled his lips and said, That guy has a much higher self-esteem than the two of us. In today's scene, the tails of the three brothers of the Yuan gang are almost raised to the sky. How could he come? It's really possible. The bald head nodded. After the two of them went upstairs and walked around, they saw no trace of Four Eyes. They couldn't help but secretly smack their lips. Four Eyes was the strongest among the three of them. Usually when the three of them come together to calm things down, it is also dominated by Four Eyes, who has a very high self-esteem. He was the one who let the Yuan gang enter the suburbs of Mongkok in the first place, saying that he was giving some food to the refugees from Yuan. He is somewhat self-respecting. Now that the three Tony brothers are up, Cyan's face was almost swollen from being beaten. The person who used to give alms had a higher status than him now. It was strange that he came. Cyan and the others were just the little bosses in Mongkok, and they were incomparable with the hall masters of Helianqing. Among the three of them, Four Eyes is the most xenophobic and has never taken a direct look at the Yuan gang. What the heroes and Baldhead discovered, the three Tony brothers naturally also discovered. Second brother, among the three old guys, only Four Eyes has not arrived yet. Do you want to wait? Ahu asked. Cyan, this person is too aloof. Asa curled his lips and said, I guess it's impossible for him to come today. Now that we have joined Helianqing, which is much more powerful than him, I guess he will be too embarrassed to come. Damn, you are so disrespectful to us. Next time I see him, I have to show him some sex. Ahu said. Okay, today is a happy day, don't always shout and kill. Tony helped Ahu adjust his collar and said, Face is earned by oneself, not given by others. We are also people with status now. There is no need to get angry for such a small person. Brother, please notify the restaurant to open the banquet. Those who didn't show up don't have to wait. Good. While the three Tony brothers were holding a host banquet in Mongkok, Song Zihao and Xiao Ma were driving to Uncle Yao's villa. Xiao Ma, let me ask you one last time, have you really thought it through? Song Zihao asked. Brother Hao, you don't need to say anything, even without the promise of the god of wealth dragon, I will definitely avenge this. Brother Xiao Ma said with firm eyes. Song Zihao heard this and said nothing more. Uncle Yao has been controlling the counterfeit banknote group behind the scenes for so many years. He is not someone who is short of money. Ever since he was warned by Chen Heilung, this old guy has protected the villa. Like an iron bucket, he usually doesn't go out if he can't. Even if he has to go out, he will crowd around with dozens of younger brothers for fear of being abducted by Chen Heilung. When Song Zihao and his wife arrived at his villa, they were strictly guarded. After an interrogation, not only were they searched, but they were not allowed to drive into the villa. They could only park at the door, and then use the golf cart to drive the two of them into the villa. Uncle Yao's villa occupies a large area. It took the two of them a full 2 minutes to take a battery car from the gate to the villa. There were numerous open posts and hidden sentries along the way, and there were at least 20 or 30 gunmen seen on the surface. Before officially entering the villa, he was searched again before he was put in. As soon as he stepped into the living room, Uncle Yao greeted him with a smile. "Ah how, Xiao Ma, if you come here today, you must have good news to tell me." After the two looked at each other after hearing this, Song Zihao said, "Uncle Yao, originally I planned to withdraw from the world, but the one who got the money, I thought about it. You took good care of me in the past. If you need me the most, when it comes to manpower, it would be unloyal for me to turn a blind eye, so I am willing to help you once." Okay. Hearing this, Uncle Yao said happily, "You are still the loyal how you used to be. I saw you right." "Uncle Yao, don't worry." Song Zihao raised his hand and interrupted. "It's okay for me to come back, but I want to sit back in my original position, and Xiao Ma also wants to be the deputy general manager and become my deputy. This is no problem. You two brothers were partners before, how could I break you up?" Of course Uncle Yao has no problem. He is most in need of a subordinate who can come out to carry the tripod. Although Song Zihao has been working hard in Wanwan for 3 years, many old people in the group can recognize him, and Song Zihao used to be the general manager, and now after success, he returned to his position. No matter whether he had enough prestige or strength, he was not afraid of the dissatisfaction of the people below him. As for Xiao Ma, although he was a little worse than Song Zihao, he had a good reputation in the group. Back then, he went to Wanwan alone to avenge his boss. He knows how many of his subordinates regard him as their idol. Even if the vice president is replaced, no one below him is dissatisfied. He suppressed Xiao Ma before to guard against Song Zihao, but now that Song Zihao has been invited back by him, naturally I won't do those things again. "Thank you for coming back and helping me." Uncle Yao asked his younger brother to pour 3 glasses of red wine and bring them over. He held the glasses with the two of them and said, "I used to be the boss, but I didn't do a lot of things well. I hope you can forgive me. Uncle Yao, you are out of town. Without you, we would not be here today. I would like to toast you with this glass of wine," Xiao Ma said with a smile and a pun. Uncle Yao, who didn't hear the meaning in his words at all, was still modest and said, "You have achieved what you have today, and you have achieved it yourself. I don't dare to take credit. It's me. I should thank you for coming to help me at this time." After toasting and clinking their glasses, the 3 people with their own thoughts drank the wine in one gulp with smiles on their faces. In a very inconspicuous tea restaurant on the corner of Tung Tao, Ashley Road, Sim Sha Sui, Xiao Ma was eating a pineapple bun. Pineapple buns are a kind of sweet bread created by Hong Kong islanders. In fact, there is no pineapple in the bread, and there is no filling in the middle. It is so named because the bread has a golden brown surface after baking and has a bumpy, crispy texture. Like pineapple. The regular version with nothing added is called pineapple bun, and the one with butter in the middle is called pineapple butter. Because of his poor life over the years, Xiao Ma is particularly careful when eating. When biting into a pineapple bun, his other hand will catch the crumbs from the crispy skin on the surface of the pineapple bun. After finishing the pineapple bun, he will pour these crumbs into your mouth and try to avoid wasting them. A pineapple bun seems to be the size of an adult's fist, but it is very weak. If you squeeze it hard, it may not be as big as an egg. Such a small amount of food is definitely not enough for an adult like Xiao Ma, but he has no intention of eating more. He has become accustomed to this feeling of hunger over the years. Proper hunger can make him calmer and remember hatred more deeply. When he swallowed the last bite of crumbs, Jimizi, who lowered the brim of his hat, sat opposite him. In order to avoid alerting Uncle Yao, Jean Mitzi came alone and in a low-key manner. The few beast servants who protected him were all sitting in a black business car across the street. Uncle Yao is very cautious, and it is not safe to communicate using communication tools, so before the plan started, the two of them agreed to meet at this tea restaurant at 9 o'clock in the morning every Monday, Wednesday and Friday to pass on the news. "How's it going? What's the progress?" John Mitzi asked. "Brother Hao and I have returned to the counterfeit banknote group and will help you get the counterfeit banknote circuit board as soon as possible." After saying this, Brother Ma stood up to pay and left. It was as natural as if they were just diners who occasionally shared a table together. Unless someone sat next to them with their ears pricked up and eavesdropped, they would not have been noticed at all. We talked. At the same time, Brother Ma stood up and went to check out. Jimmy Zai naturally asked the waiter to order wonton noodles and a cup of frozen lemon tea. After Brother Ma left, he looked at Ma Jing and ate like an ordinary diner. Wonton noodles. Bang! A golf ball draws a parabola in midair as the club hits it. Bang, 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 bang. Mr. Chin, your skills are really getting better and better now, and you are almost catching up with some professional players. Xiao Shiban clapped his hands and praised. Boss Xiao, what you are saying is flattering me. I just live closer to here and play here often, so I am familiar with it. If I change the course, I may not be able to play as well. Chen Heilung smiled lightly and said, Speaking of which, your villa is really close to the Repulse Bay golf course. It's so convenient for playing golf. I want to buy one here so that I don't have to travel so far to play golf in the future. As soon as Xiao Shiban said these 290 words, several other bosses who came to play with him felt the same way. What Lao Xiao said is right. The villas here in Repulse Bay are really convenient. If you buy one here, if you want to play golf in the future, you can reach the golf course in just 2 steps. Not only is it a golf course, the yacht club is also nearby, making it convenient to go fishing. I'm moved by what you said, and I want to buy a set and keep it here so I don't have to worry about it when I go out to play. The bosses who came to play with Chen Heilung today are basically worth several billion. Although the villas in Repulse Bay are not cheap, they are nothing to these big guys. While ordinary office workers on Hong Kong Island are still secretly calculating which mode of transportation is more cost-effective to cross the harbor, these big guys say that buying a property is as easy as going out to buy a pack of cigarettes. A few people were chatting. Chen Heilung saw Jean Mitzi appearing in the rest area next to the stadium, so he said hello to Xiao Zhenban and other bosses, and walked towards the rest area. What's the matter? The electronic board matter has made progress. I have bribed Mark Lee. He and Song Zihao have now joined the counterfeit banknote group. John Mizai told Chen Heilung everything about buying Mark Lee and his promise to him. Just watch and arrange these things. You are my spokesperson now. If Mark Lee can really help me take out the electric board, you will send him abroad for treatment later. Chen Heilung didn't care at all about John Mitzi's promise to Mark Lee. To him, it was just small money. Clear. On the other side, Uncle Yao, who was staying at home and afraid to go out, was holding a red wine glass in his hand, feeling a little uneasy. Ever since Chen Heilung gave the warning that day, he had been extremely cautious, fearing that Chen Heilung would take action. As a result, after waiting for so many days, there was no movement at all. If the other party was not Chen Heilung, but someone else, he would probably think that the other party just said harsh words and could not do anything to him. But the problem is that it is Kei Shenlong. He is a counterfeit banknote businessman who often contacts overseas customers. He is well aware of Chen Heilung's style in Southeast Asia. Words such as retribution, killing all people, elimination, and so on are the true portrayal of him in Southeast Asia. If Chen Heilung has now begun to he took action, and he still had a plan in his mind. The soldiers would come to block the water and cover it up with the earth. But now Chen Heilung didn't make any move, which made him feel uneasy. He always felt that something was waiting for him. Gulong, is there any movement from the Kei Shenlong side recently? Uncle Yao asked. No, the people from Kaishanlong haven't even come to Central recently. Is there anything going on? Gulong replied. Their warehouse and printing factory are both in Central. If Chen Hailung deals with them, he will definitely send his younger brother to Central. In the past few days, Uncle Yao and Ma Gulong have been keeping a close eye on the movements around Central, for fear that Kaishanlong will do something. Raid. How could there be nothing wrong? Uncle Yao frowned and said, That guy Kaishanlong has always been ruthless. There is absolutely no way he can just talk but not practice. Now the more silent he is, the less confident I feel. After saying this, Uncle Yao paced back and forth in the villa several times, and finally gritted his teeth and said, Forget it, I can't afford to offend him, why can't I hide from him? I won't stay in Hong Kong Island anymore. Gulong, please inform Ahau and Xiaoma to come over tomorrow. I am going to send them to build a new factory in Malai. We will all hide in Malai. If possible, Uncle Yao certainly doesn't want to leave Hong Kong Island. After all, Hong Kong Island is a free trade port. The brokers here can do business all over the world. When counterfeit banknotes are printed, they can easily be transferred to all parts of the world through various channels. After going to Malay, the conditions are not so good. When the counterfeit banknotes are printed, just transporting them will be a troublesome matter. But in the current situation, he has no choice. Although Chen Hailung seems to be taking no action now, no one knows if there are any other moves behind his back. He will continue to bite the bullet and stay in Hong Kong Island. If Chen Hailung really attacks him, he cannot beat Chen Hailung's opponent with his weak soldiers and generals. Instead of staying here and worrying, it is better to start a new place. Even if you earn less, it is still better than handing over the electric board to Chen Hailung for nothing. Yes, Uncle Yao, I will inform them both right now. Gulong nodded. Early the next morning, Song Zihao and Mark Li came to Uncle Yao's villa as scheduled. Uncle Yao! Uncle Yao! The two greeted. Come and sit. Coming to my place is just like going back to your own home, no need to be formal. Uncle Yao greeted warmly. After the two sat down, Uncle Yao took out another bottle of whiskey from the wine cabinet. Ahau, I know you like to drink whiskey the most. How about trying this? This is my request. A friend got it from Europa. Song Zihao, who has a special liking for whiskey, recognized what kind of wine it was just by looking at the bottle that Uncle Yao took out. Dalmore 50-year-old sherry cask crystal bottle. This wine was released in 1978 and is the only one in the world. Limited to 60 bottles, the wine was distilled in 1928, but it contains the original wines of 1868 and 1878. The current international average price is $110,000. 110,000 US dollars is about the equivalent of a small 1 million Hong Kong paper is enough to buy a house in Hong Kong Island at this time, and more importantly, there are only 60 bottles of this wine in the world. In the true sense, one bottle is less than one bottle. Others don't know, anyway. Song Zihao felt that if this wine belonged to him, he would definitely not be willing to take it out and drink it. Uncle Yao, this is too valuable. Song Zihao stopped him and said, No matter how valuable it is to have a talent like you, fine wine is given to heroes. I admire your loyal character very much, but it's just a bottle of wine, it's nothing. As he spoke, Uncle Yao unscrewed the wine bottle and poured a glass for Song Zihao. Uncle Yao, if there is anything you need me to do, just ask me directly. There is no need to be so polite to me, Song Zihao said. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. After hearing this, Uncle Yao sighed and said, I won't hide it from you. I have been forced to do nothing by the God of Wealth Dragon now. I want the counterfeit banknote circuit board of our group. It is the lifeblood of the group. How can I hand it over? I am going to take the counterfeit banknote circuit board and fly to Malay today. Hong Kong Island will be completely abandoned. Then we will build a new factory in Malay. Are you two willing to follow me? Song Zihao and Mark Li came here just for the counterfeit banknote circuit board. How could they not follow them at this time? After the two looked at each other, Song Zihao still spoke. Uncle Yao, there is nothing to say. Anyway, I am here on Hong Kong Island. There is no development, I will go wherever you go. CJBD. Me too. Mark Lee followed closely. Good. Uncle Yao pawed his hands and said happily, I really saw you right. Don't worry, as long as I have a bite to eat from now on, you will never be hungry. I bought your air tickets for you. You don't need to pack anything. Now follow me to get the electrical panel. After we get it, we'll leave to avoid a long night of dreams. Uncle Yao, an old fox, publicly praised Song Zihao and Mark Lee for their loyalty, but he couldn't believe anyone. Even his top horse, Guolong, only now knew about buying a plane ticket to set off. The old guy didn't have the faintest hint beforehand. He didn't disclose it, just because he was afraid that the news would spread. After he said this, Guolong had already entered the villa with a dozen bodyguards. These dozen bodyguards were all close relatives of Uncle Yao, in order to avoid leaking the news. He didn't plan to bring too many people with him this time. Anyway, he was ready to start a new business. Those less important younger brothers will be gone if they are gone. As long as he has money, he can recruit new younger brothers wherever he is. And these younger brothers, staying on Hong Kong Island, can be used as a smoke bomb to disrupt the judgment of Lian Xing. Give me your communication equipment. From now on, no one is allowed to have contact with the outside world. If you need to contact your family, wait until you get to Malaysia. It only takes more than 4 hours to fly from Hong Kong Island, so it won't delay you too much. Old. As soon as Uncle Yao finished speaking, Guolong took the lead in handing over the communication equipment he was carrying. He made a sample, and the others followed suit and handed over their communication equipment. When it was Mark Lee's turn, Mark Lee continued without hesitation. He took out his cell phone and put it into the basket. What he did made Song Zihao couldn't help but look sideways. But he couldn't ask any more questions at the moment. After all, Uncle Yao was still staring there. After receiving the message after installing the equipment, they went out to get the electric panel. When they were going out, Mark Lee tripped over the threshold because of his lameness and fell hard. Seeing this, Song Zihao rushed to help him, but Mark Lee seemed to he fell so hard that he couldn't be helped up for a long time. This scene made Uncle Yao's eyes flash with disgust. In fact, he had never been able to like Mark Lee before, otherwise he wouldn't have supported Tan Cheng. This time so he took Mark Lee with him entirely because of Song Zihao. If he didn't take Mark Lee with him, Song Zihao would definitely not agree to go with him. What are you looking at? Why don't you hurry over and help the pony up? Yao Shuchong said to his bodyguard. With the joint support of the bodyguard and Song Zihao, Mark Lee finally got back on his feet. Xiaoma, are you okay? Song Zihao said with concern. It's okay. Mark Lee smiled and shook his head. I bumped a muscle just now, so I couldn't stand up for a while. It's okay. Let's get in the car quickly and don't delay Uncle Yao's business. After a group of them got in the car, they set off in a low-key manner from the back door of the villa and headed to another villa area in Central. The villa in this villa area was much smaller than the one where Uncle Yao lives now. There was not even a yard, so the car could only parked on the roadside. Uncle Yao directed the vehicle to park in front of a small villa on the edge of the villa area, opened the door and got out of the car. This small villa was a safe house prepared by Uncle Yao for himself. Except for himself, everyone else, no one in the counterfeit banknote group knew about it. After opening the door, he took Song Zihao, Li Mark, Guolong, and a group of bodyguards into the villa. Although the villa was not big, the decoration inside was quite elegant, and the TV background in the living room there were also various decorative vases placed on both sides of the wall. As Mark Lee was looking around, he saw Uncle Yao walking toward the vases on the other side of the background wall. He somehow twisted the bottles, and they popped out from under the background wall. There was a hidden compartment, and the counterfeit banknote electrical board was suddenly in that hidden compartment. But before Uncle Yao could reach out to take it, something cold was pressed against the back of his head. Uncle Yao, you'd better not move around now, otherwise if my hands and feet shake, I'll go off the rails. Uncle Yao instantly recognized that it was Mark Lee's voice, and couldn't help but said angrily, Xiao Ma, what are you going to do? I'm your boss, you dare to point a gun at me, are you crazy? I'm not crazy. Mark Lee grabbed Uncle Yao's head and said, Old guy, you were the one who was unfaithful to me first, and now you have the nerve to say you are my boss. Do you really think I dare not shoot you? Ah how, this is your good brother, why don't you let him put down his gun quickly? Uncle Yao yelled at Song Zihao. But Song Zihao seemed not to hear his shouts at all and had no intention of moving at all. Although Song Zihao didn't take action, he still had Ma Guolong and the bodyguard team led by him. But unexpectedly, Mark Lee used Uncle Yao as a human shield after pulling him over. Under such a trap, the bodyguard team led by Guolong did not dare to act rashly. Xiaoma, what on earth are you going to do? Uncle Yao said angrily. Do you think you can keep holding me hostage and escape? Even if you escape from here, my bodyguards will not let you go. I know, so I don't intend to hold you hostage and leave, and then be hunted down. I'm just waiting for someone now. Xiao Ma smiled as he spoke, not caring at all that Guolong and other gunmen were targeting him at this moment. Just when Uncle Yao opened his mouth to say something, the door of the villa was suddenly kicked open by someone from outside. No. When the bodyguards in the villa reacted, their heads were all pressed with gun muzzles. Brother Ma, where is the electrical panel? The last one to come in was Jimmy Zai, and beside him was a tall Dasha. It's here. Mark Lee raised the electric board he just grabbed from Uncle Yao and shouted. Xiaoma, I'm so rough on your uncle, how dare you betray Uncle Yao? Guolong spoke angrily and at the same time, he raised his gun and prepared to kill Mark Lee. But Dasha was faster than him. Boom! After a gunshot, Guolong fell to the ground. Although Dasha looked innocent, his reaction ability and shooting skills were nothing to say. The moment Guolong raised his gun, Dasha's bullet had penetrated his head, causing him to die instantly without feeling any pain at all. The reason why Zhang Mitzi came here at this time was precisely because of Mark Lee's fall at the door of the villa. In order to prevent Uncle Yao from escaping, Zhang Nazai sent his trusted subordinates to keep an eye on Uncle Yao's villa 24 hours a day. And Mark Lee's fall was also an emergency code that the two had discussed in advance. What to do with this old guy? Mark Lee asked to Zhang Mizai. Lock it up first. Zhang Mitzi turned to Dasha and said, Dasha, take this old guy to Saigon and lock him up first. At this time, Uncle Yao no longer had any arrogant look on his face, but only endless fear. Xiaoma, how, you can't do this to me. I know you are the most loyal people, but you can't do this. Uncle Yao wailed with his eyes wide open. Snapped. Mark Lee slapped Uncle Yao on the face. I have wanted to give you this slap for a long time. It is about loyalty that we were hurt so badly by you. It is because of loyalty that my leg became lame. How dare you say that what happened to Brother Hao and Wanwan back then was not the same? You have no relationship? Hearing this, Uncle Yao's face turned pale. Okay, Xiaoma, there's no need to talk nonsense with him, just leave the rest to me. At this time, Zhang Mitzi interjected. Dasha, why don't you take this old guy away yet? Yes, Brother Zhanmi. Dasha, who obeyed Zhang Nazai's words, grabbed the frustrated Uncle Yao by the neck like a chicken and took him out. After Dasha left, Zhang Nazai smiled at Song Zihao and Mark Lee and said, This matter was completed so smoothly thanks to your help. Now come with me to meet Brother Heilung. Brother Heilung appreciates you very much. Okay. Zhang Mitzi took the two of them into the commercial vehicle and drove towards a warehouse in Tsimsha Sui. After arriving at the warehouse, they went upstairs to the office and knocked on the door. Enter. Chen Heilung's voice came from the office. Boss, the counterfeit banknote circuit board has been obtained. After Zhang Mitzi placed the counterfeit banknote circuit board on Chen Heilung's desk, he introduced sideways. These two are the Mark Lee and Song Zihao I mentioned to you. It's thanks to them that we were able to get the counterfeit banknote circuit board so smoothly this time. As help. Chen Heilung nodded and looked at the two of them carefully. Although he had seen these two people in the movie in his previous life, There is still a slight gap between the real person and the image on the screen. The real person Song Zihao is slightly bald, and his eyebrows look like very peaceful, dressed in a cheap street stall attire. Maybe because he hasn't been around in the world for a long time, there is always a hint of restraint in his movements. If you meet him on the street, you would never think that this person is the former Jiang Hu. The boss is just like an ordinary greasy middle-aged man. Mark Lee next to him is just the opposite. He is not restrained because of Chen Hailung's identity. Instead, he shows a bit of eagerness to try in his eyes. Chen Hailung said, "You guys will do well in the future. Follow me and I will never treat you badly. No matter how prosperous you were in the past, I promise that you will only be more prosperous if you follow me in the future. Whether it's Tan Qing or Uncle Yao, they are just minor characters and they can't compare with me. You should understand." Hearing this, Mark Lee immediately responded, "Brother Hailung, don't worry, I have nothing but loyalty. I can only get revenge this time with Brother Hailung's help. From now on, if you ask me to the east, I will never go to the west." Chen Hailung nodded. "From now on, we are all brothers. You follow Zhang Mitzi first, and the promises he made to you before will be fulfilled one by one, ensuring that you can be prosperous in the future." "Thank you, Brother Hailung," Mark Lee said with excitement. Compared to Mark Lee's happy look, Song Zihao's reaction was much duller. There was neither excitement nor dissatisfaction, as if he just heard something that had nothing to do with him. The reason why he had this reaction was because he didn't want to step into the whirlpool of the world again. He followed Mark Lee entirely because he felt sorry for Mark Lee, otherwise he would never set foot in the world again no matter what. "Okay, you guys go down first, I still have something to say with Jimmy Zai." Chen Hailung waved his hand and said, "Yes, Brother Hailung." After the two left, Chen Hailung picked up the counterfeit banknote electric board on the table and studied it in his hands. The electric board of both the counterfeit banknote and the real banknote was made of platinum iridium alloy. Platinum iridium alloy is the substance with the smallest deformation, and it has the characteristics of high hardness and can be used many times without deformation. It must be said that everything is done by professional experts. Things like banknote circuit boards are very precise, and the concave and convex patterns inside are not even the finest. The thickness of a hair is extremely difficult to make. In addition, dozens of marks are needed to identify authenticity on the electrical board. Making an electrical board not only requires a lot of manpower and material resources, but also requires top international technicians to make it. Just such a small electrical panel demonstrates the ability of human beings in precision processing industry. The exquisiteness is like a work of art when held in hand. Even with Chen Hailung's current strength, he wants to build one from scratch. It would be very difficult to realize the counterfeit banknote circuit board without a few years of fine polishing. After holding it in his hand and playing with it carefully for a while, Chen Hailung put down the circuit board, looked up at Jimmy Zai and asked, "How is Uncle Yao doing now?" Now being imprisoned in Sai Kung Pier, he must have accumulated a lot of wealth by doing counterfeit money business for so many years. "I am going to squeeze out the last bit of his value and kill that old guy," Zhang Mitzi replied. Chen Hailung nodded. "You can figure it out yourself." "Yes, boss." In the evening of the same day, Jimmy drove to Sai Kung Pier with his bodyguards. After getting off the car, he led his bodyguards to board a small cargo ship along the berth of the pier. "Brother Jean-Mi! Brother Jean-Mi!" As soon as we got on the boat, we were greeted by a wave of greetings from the younger brothers. "Where is Dasha now?" Zhang Mitzi casually asked the younger brother. "Brother Jean-Mi, Brother Dasha is interrogating the old guy in the bottom cabin right now." Zhang Mitzi nodded, wearing a suit and leading a few men down the gangway to the bottom warehouse. As soon as he opened the door, he saw Uncle Yao hanging in the middle of the warehouse. At this moment, Uncle Yao, his body was covered in scars, most of the teeth in his mouth were knocked out, and all the nails on his hands and feet were pulled out. His legs were drooped, and it was clear that he had been thoroughly planned. Even if he was sent to a doctor, he would never stand up again in his life. Possibility. In addition, half of an ear is missing from his head. Although these are not fatal injuries, the pain caused together is simply not something that ordinary people can bear. As the executioner, Dasha, now he was so tired that he sat in the corner of the warehouse and fell asleep. After all, he had been greeting Uncle Yao all day, so Iron Man was also a little tired. Wake up! Jean Mitzi went over and kicked Dasha gently. Well, Dasha, who woke up, was stunned for 2 or 3 seconds before he realized what was happening. He quickly stood up and said, Brother Jean-Mi, I'm sorry, I was a little sleepy just now and took a nap. It's not important. How is the trial going for this old guy? Jean Mitzi asked. The boss has basically explained everything. I have asked my younger brother to get the relevant documents, and they are all here. Dasha took out a bunch of documents from behind and handed them to Jean Mazai. After looking through the documents, Jean Mazai found that this old guy, Uncle Yao, had really made a lot of money in the counterfeit money business for so many years. Not only do they own properties on Hong Kong Island, but they also purchase properties in Malaysia, Singapore, and other places. After a rough calculation, these alone are worth a lot of money. And apart from the properties, the big one is the old guy's Rui. The deposits in the bank are actually as high as $150 million, which is more than $1 billion in Hong Kong paper. Is that all? Jean Mitzi asked. That's it for the big head. I guess this old guy still has a little treasury left. Give me some time and I promise to pry it out from his mouth, Dasha said fiercely. Jean Mazai still believed Dasha's words. Although Dasha was a bit of a thief sometimes, he had very clear ideas. He didn't dare to embezzle any money on this kind of thing. If he wanted to otherwise, if he is discovered, he will definitely die without a burial place. Uncle Yao, who was hanging in the warehouse, also heard the conversation between the two, and he quickly complained and begged for mercy. I really gave you everything, there is nothing at all. Xiaojinku, please let me go. When Jean Mitzi heard this, he turned around and looked at Uncle Yao with an expression on his face. Brother Heilung has given you the opportunity a long time ago. It's you who didn't know how to grasp it. You can't blame others. You are also engaged in international business. You know that Brother Heilung has always been a cannibal, but you still try to provoke him. I can only say that you are seeking death. After saying that, Jean Mitzi turned to Dasha and said, Get rid of this old guy directly. To read exciting novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Yes. Although both of them know that Uncle Yao has definitely not been completely squeezed out, the remaining value is not that important, and there is not much profit and water that can be squeezed out. Sending him to death early can also be regarded as an end to this matter. Jean, after Mizai left, Dasha immediately asked his younger brother to find a sack to stuff Uncle Yao into. Unlike Jean Mizai, who likes to use cement concrete to seal people in Shanghai, he prefers this relatively environmentally friendly method. After adding stones and sinking into the sea, it will not take long to decompose completely, unlike those sealed with cement concrete. If you fish them out after a few years, you can still take out the body. Uncle Yao, who was put down, saw the sack. Frightened and struggling, begging for mercy. Please let me go, I can give you money. Your money has been squeezed out long ago. Where can you get the money? Give it to us, Dasha said with a ferocious smile. I have friends, I know many big guys, I can borrow money from them. As long as you are willing to let me go, I can give you 10 million, no, 50 million. Sorry, I don't want to be drowned by Brother Jean-Mi. As he said that, Dasha stretched out his hand and grabbed Uncle Yao's neck. Facing death, Uncle Yao's strong will to live made him break free from Dasha's iron-like hands. He jumped up and down in the warehouse regardless of the pain, trying to save himself. Find a way out. Boom! Dasha swung a wrench on Uncle Yao's head and finally made him calm down. Pooh! Dasha spat fiercely at Uncle Yao, who was lying in a pool of blood. Damn it, if you don't die honestly, you have to dirty my cabin. Put this old thing in a sack for me. Uncle Yao, who had a big hole in his head, was twitching uncontrollably. At the same time, he was still making weak sounds in his mouth and begging for mercy. But Dasha paid so little attention to him. After asking his younger brother to put it into a sack, he stuffed it again. He put a few stones in, then drove the boat to the high seas and threw the sacks off the boat. With a pop, the last traces of Uncle Yao in this world completely disappeared along with a few bubbles rising from the sea. The next day, John Meetsy drove to Chen Hailung's villa in Repulse Bay. Since purchasing this villa, Chen Hailung has fallen in love with the scenery and quiet environment here. In addition to being busy in the warehouse, most of the rest of the time, he lives in the Repulse Bay villa. Sometimes he stays in the other villas occasionally after working late, and is too lazy to work. When Jimmy arrived, Chen Hailung was having breakfast. The new cook of the Repulse Bay villa, Mom, a girl from northern China, was tricked into coming to Hong Kong Island to pursue her dream of becoming a star. As a result, she was almost sold to a stable when her dream failed. Later, she applied for a job with Chen Hailung, and finally found a place in Hong Kong Island. This is Ming Bei girl is good at cooking, especially northern breakfast. I wanted to eat tofu puffs on Hong Kong Island, but they only had sweet ones, which Chen Hailung couldn't stand. Now with this cook, she can make tofu puffs and so on. They are all salty and spicy flavors that he prefers, which makes him feel very good. Boss, John Meetsy said respectfully. John Mi, come and try the salty tofu puffs, it tastes great. Chen Hailung greeted. Although Jimmy Zai often comes to eat at Chen Hailung's place, as a native of Hong Kong, he really can't understand how the fresh, soft and salty tofu puffs can be eaten. But in the face of the boss's hospitality invited, he could only pinch his nose and try it. What he didn't expect was that this flavor of tofu brain made him feel very good after entering his mouth. It was completely different from the sweet one. It could even be said that it tasted like two kinds of tofu. He grew food, and the taste was quite appetizing. Before he knew it, he had completely wiped out a bowl of tofu. How about it? It tastes very good. Chen Hailung smiled and said, it is indeed a very different taste. Jean Mazai nodded and finished taking out the assets document of Uncle Yao that he got from Dasha yesterday night from the document bag he carried with him. Boss, here are all of Uncle Yao's assets. Please take a look. Chen Hailung took the document and flipped through it. When Chen Hailung was flipping through the document, John Meetsy explained, Uncle Yao has 3 properties on Hong Kong Island. One is the counterfeit banknote group in Central, and the other is where he lives. The single-family house and a townhouse he used as a safe house. In addition to the 3 properties on Hong Kong Island, he also purchased properties in Malay and Singapore. The relevant information is in the documents. In terms of cash, only a few million were found from his home, but there were $150 million in his Wise bank account. During Jean Meetsy's explanation, Chen Hailung quickly read through all the documents. It is up to you to handle these subsequent matters. Withdraw the $150 million from his account and transfer it to our own account. The money he can deposit in the bank has been laundered, which saves us the trouble. Clear. John Mazai nodded. Chen Hailung still trusts John Mazai very much. After all, John Mazai has been following him since before he became successful. He cultivated him single-handedly, and after getting along with him for so long, John Mazai Meetsy has never betrayed his trust. He felt more at ease leaving the matter to Jean Mi to handle. After Jean Meetsy left, Chen Hailung also set off to the warehouse to handle matters. Not long after he arrived at the warehouse office, he received the system task completion prompt in his mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the system release task, killing Uncle Yao, and getting the counterfeit banknote template. Rewarded with 100% loyalty from 30 Black Python servants. While there was no one to disturb them at the moment, Chen Hailung conveniently summoned the 30 Black Python servants as their younger brothers. After summoning these younger brothers, he pressed the call bell in the office and called them. The Black Python King. After the counterfeit banknote group was resolved, the Black Python King returned to him. Now he still sits in a corner of the warehouse studying various poisons every day. But now that he has subordinates, the area of the compartment has expanded. A lot, and the research and development efficiency has also increased a lot. These Black Python servants are exactly the same as him. They all have cold personalities and look indifferent to the outside world. It is difficult for people to get close to them, but they get along very harmoniously with each other. This is your newly summoned little brother, and I will leave it to you to manage. Chen Heilung rushed to the Black Python King and said, "Yes, boss." The Black Python King was still as indifferent as ever. After nodding to Chen Heilung, he led the younger brothers out of the office. At the same time, in Central, Hong Kong Island, Mark Lee, wearing a tailored suit, walked from the office holding a civilized stick. A brand new tiger head Pingji got off. Today, he has carefully groomed hair combed back into a slicked back, wearing limited edition crocodile leather shoes at his feet, holding a civilized stick worth 6 figures in his hand, followed by among the dozen or so younger brothers. There was no trace of his previous desolate appearance. The younger brothers following him were all former Uncle Yao's men. After Uncle Yao's fall, he and Song Zihao successfully formed a relationship under the guidance of Zhang Nazai. They took over Uncle Yao's territory and subordinates. Many of these people were senior and had worked with the two of them before. It was not that there were die-hard fans of Uncle Yao among them, but those who did not understand current affairs would only face being beaten. The fate of being purged, so it is not difficult for them to accept it. Today he came here to make an appointment with Song Zihao at a restaurant and planned to have a meal together. Although Xiao Ma Ge and Song Zihao have now joined Helian Xing and taken charge of the properties left by Uncle Yao, they have nothing specific to do. After all, Uncle Yao was in the counterfeit banknote business before, and he did not have the territory of a traditional society. Now that the counterfeit banknote printing work has not been restarted, the two of them have nothing to do. Although they helped Chen Heilung get the counterfeit banknote circuit board and Zhang Mitzi gave them both big red envelopes and provided support in terms of manpower and material resources, this idle state made it difficult for them to feel at ease. Brother Hao, do you think I should ask Brother Zhangmi to see what the arrangements are for Brother Heilung? Mark Lee asked. If you are worried, you can ask, Song Zihao said, but I don't recommend you to do that. Since Brother Heilung took the counterfeit banknote electronic board, he will definitely prepare to print counterfeit banknotes. It will definitely be useful to us. We haven't arranged specific things for us now. Maybe the preparations haven't been done yet. Done, asking at this time is likely to arouse resentment. No boss likes a younger brother who is eager for quick success. Hearing what Song Zihao said, Mark Lee could only temporarily give up the idea of asking Jimmy Zai. It turned out that Jiang was still hot. A few days later, Chen Heilung asked Jimmy Zai to inform the two of them to go to the warehouse in Simsha Sui. When they and Zhang Mitzi arrived at the warehouse, Chen Heilung was checking the list of the latest arrival of goods. Brother Black Dragon. After the two saw Chen Heilung, they said hello. Chen Heilung responded and handed the goods list to the boy next to him, and said to them, "Come to the office with me." After arriving at the office, Chen Heilung went straight to the point. "I'm going to send you to Jin Sanjiao. I have a base there." Hearing this, the two of them were slightly surprised. Although there were rumors on Hong Kong Island that Chen Heilung had a base and armed forces in Jin Sanjiao, they all thought it was a rumor until they heard the person personally admit it. Now that they heard Chen Heilung say it from his own mouth, 273, they knew it was true. However, neither of them said anything, waiting for Chen Heilung's next words. "I'm going to move the counterfeit banknote factory there. Both of you are talented in this field, so I need you to go there together. Do you have any opinions?" "No." As soon as Chen Heilung finished speaking, Mark Lee rushed to reply. "The counterfeit banknote factory in Hong Kong Island has to worry about the police every day. If it moves to a place like Jin Sanjiao where no one cares, it will be able to run around for 24 hours. I'm not afraid of anyone checking. People always know how to cherish after losing. People like Mark Lee who have fallen from the clouds have finally seen the opportunity to get up. Naturally, they cannot let it go, let alone go to Jin Sanjiao. Even if they give him, he didn't hesitate at all when he was sent to Africa." "And you?" Chen Heiling turned his attention to Song Zihao. Hearing this, Song Zihao hesitated for a moment, then nodded and said, I don't have any problem either. Well, since you all have no problem, Jean-Mi's I will arrange for you to get on the boat tonight. That night, Jimmy took Xiao Ma and Song Zihao to the Sai Kung Pier by car. As soon as the car stopped at the pier, Dasha came up with his little brother. How long until the Black Wolf King's ship arrives? Jean Mitzi asked after looking at his watch. There are about 10 minutes left, and Black Wolf King is always very punctual, so there won't be much error. Dasha replied. Jean Mitzi nodded, took out a cigarette from his pocket, and gave it to brother Xiaoma and Song Zihao. They lit cigarettes silently and waited for the Black Wolf King's ship to arrive at the dock. Although Mark Lee happily agreed in the morning, at this time, he was still a little worried about the unknown future, and his eyes flickered in the sparks of burning cigarettes. Song Zihao, who was sitting next to him, squeezed his shoulders as if he could read his thoughts. Mark Lee turned around and saw an encouraging look from Song Zihao. Although the two of them didn't say anything, after this move, Mark Lee's inner restlessness obviously calmed down a lot. After smoking a cigarette, he saw the surface of the sea appear. The outline of a black shadow. Not long after, the black shadow came to the edge of the pier. Come with me, the Black Wolf King is here! With this greeting, the two of them followed Jean Mazai to the boarding area of the pier. This time, the Black Wolf King came to pick them up in person, and with him were several gangsters who had been subdued by him. Black Wolf King, these two are Mark Lee and Song Zihao, who the boss wants you to escort to the Golden Sanjiao base. After passing there, ask the Black Tiger King to assist them in building a counterfeit banknote factory as soon as possible. Nu! The Black Wolf King nodded, stretched out his hand to shake the two of them, said hello briefly, and then arranged for the two of them to board the ship. This time he came mainly to send the two of them to Jin Sanjiao, so he didn't stay too much. After the two boarded the ship, the freighter set sail again and disappeared into the dark sea. In the private room of a rather high-end Western restaurant in Shatan district, Big D and Zhu Tao were eating Western food, drinking and chatting. Zhu Tao, when are we going to go to Jin Sanjiao? I have a lot of things to do here in a day, so I need to make arrangements in advance before going. Zhu Tao is a very powerful drug addict in Shatan district. It is because of his cooperation with Big D recently that he has been able to expand to a large scale in a short period of time, and make a lot of money. Now the entire number 4 business in Tsuanwan has been completely monopolized by him. In addition to Tsuanwan, he has also extended his hand into the territory of Tai Pa Black and Utubio. The two are now making a lot of money in the gambling hall in Haojiang. They have long since no longer caring about the contraband business. Big D promised the two some benefits, and successfully obtained their market. Unfortunately, Chen Heiling's direct lineage basically did not touch these businesses, so he did not. It's better to put your hands into Chen Heiling's field, otherwise the profits you can make will be much greater than now. Let's have another 3 to 5 days, Zhu Tao replied. I will accompany you to Jin Sanjiao to meet with General Biebel to discuss the number 4 share issue. The cooperation between Big D and Zhu Tao was originally a mutually beneficial relationship. Strictly speaking, Zhu Tao was still his superior. However, Naiha and Lianxing's basic base was large enough, and the two did not work together for long. Big D has taken the dominant position. Although it is a good thing that the business scale has expanded, problems have also arisen. After all, the output of each warlord in Jin Sanjiao is limited, and these warlords have more than one customer. In years of good harvest, there is no problem with the supply of goods, but if there is a bad harvest year, it depends on whether the relationship is strong enough. This year, due to the war between Kunsha and the 3 kingdoms in Jin Sanjiao, various planting areas have been affected to varying degrees, and the output has increased. The poor harvest, coupled with the sharp drop in shipments of Kunsha, the largest poisonous drug in the Golden Tripod, has caused the goods in the hands of other warlords to be in short supply. Originally, Zhu Tao was not a big deal with General Biebel. Distributors naturally don't have the brand to make people take a high look, and the corresponding share has also been reduced a lot. Originally, This kind of thing was not a big deal in their circle. If there is less stock, the price will increase according to the market. Anyway, it is not a big deal. It doesn't affect their money. But Big D has a bit of a time-honored feeling. After all, the pressure brought by Chen Heilong on him is too great. He sits with Lianxing for selection every 2 years. He was not selected last time because he was not as good as him. There's nothing to say, but if he doesn't get it in the next term, he'll probably have no chance to get that position in the future. So now he urgently needs to expand his strength. How to expand? Then he needs money. Only if he has money can he do it. Only if someone sells it to him will he have a younger brother. Therefore, he discussed with Zhu Tao and decided to go to Jin Sanjiao to meet General Biebel in person to discuss the issue of shares. Okay, let's make an agreement. We will set off in 5 days at the latest. I have to arrange some things in advance to avoid anything going wrong when I am not on Hong Kong Island, Big D said. Zhu Tao was a little helpless because of his urging. Originally, he was just a distributor, making money steadily every day. But when he cooperated with Big D, he was dragged along by this guy. He didn't even take much rest during this period. Although he made a lot more money than before, he was really tired. Okay, then in 5 days we will set off to Jin Sanjiao together. On the other side, the 3 Tony brothers, who were originally based in the suburbs of Mong Kok, have now spread their influence to the core area of Mong Kok and bought a larger villa in this area. Judging from the assets the 3 brothers have accumulated after following Chen Heilong for so long, buying a villa in an area like Mong Kok's core area is not a big problem for them at all. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. But their former identity was the UNN Gang. If the gang was disbanded, no one would care about buying a house or land wherever they liked. But if the gang is still there, you will if the property is purchased in an area that does not belong to one's own territory, it will be regarded as a challenge by other associations. The Hong Kong community is extremely xenophobic, and they are not even considered Chinese. If they dare to stretch their legs randomly, they will definitely be targeted and attacked. So even if they had money before, they couldn't set foot in these areas, but now it's different. They have become the front line of He Lianxing. Judging from He Lianxing's current strength in Hong Kong Island, without competing for business with other associations will not take the initiative to compete with He Lianxing. Not only is the area of the new villa larger than before, but the garden is also wider than the previous one. Most importantly, it is also close to the famous rehabilitation hospital in Mong Kok, making it convenient for the 3 brothers to take their mother there to receive professional treatment. Although it is basically impossible to cure it at their mother's age, it is not a problem to delay it relatively. In addition, there is a small gym in the villa to facilitate the 3 brothers to exercise at home. As the most skilled of the 3 brothers, Tony would practice punching with a sandbag in the gym for about an hour every day. Just after practicing boxing today, the 3rd brother, Ahu, ran over happily and said, "Second brother, we have recruited a group of younger brothers. I just went to see the quality of these younger brothers in person. They are all very good. It turns out that we want to recruit. It's so laborious to recruit boys. I didn't expect that as soon as the Lianxing brand was launched, 800 or 900 boys were recruited in less than half a month." The boys recruited by the 3 brothers are all short people who work on the streets of Mong Kok. Mule. Not every short mule on the streets of Hong Kong Island has a club background. Even if many of them do, they are mostly from small clubs that are not popular. Old clubs like He Lianxing have a very strict recruitment process. Not only do they need to have straw sandals. Recommendation: after joining the club, you have to go to Xiangtang to officially become a junior member of the 49th level. However, the 3 brothers are not yet qualified to recruit formal gang members, and those they recruit can only be regarded as peripheral subordinates besides the official members of He Lianxing. But even so, it is enough to make those short mules on the street flock to it. After all, relying on big clubs and small clubs is not the same concept. The most intuitive thing is that when facing each other, you can be a little more confident than others. This is why we want to join He Lianxing. Tony took off his gloves and said, With the background of a big society, our status in the world will also rise. When those people with the bald heroes saw us, they all looked aloof and condescending. Do you think they still dare to do it now? That's right. Ahu grinned and said, You and your eldest brother still have the foresight. While he was talking, Asia also came back from outside. Ahu once again told Asia the good news about recruiting a younger brother. After Asia listened, he said to Tony, Tony, now we have the manpower, right? It's time to go grab some land and come back. In the past, the land in our suburbs wasn't even considered serious land. Now that we have joined the league, we have to make some achievements, otherwise our reputation will be a bit unworthy of our reputation. Hearing this, Ahu asked, Whose territory should we grab? Isn't there a ready-made candidate? Tony sneered and said, That guy with 4 eyes has always looked down on us since the beginning, and he always makes things difficult for us from time to time, just to use him to establish his authority. Ahu's eyes suddenly lit up when he heard this, and he laughed ferociously and said, As for that guy, I've long disliked that guy. He didn't give the honor to attend the second Brother Hall Master's banquet. This time, the old and new accounts were settled together. After cooperating with Chen Heilun, the strength of the 3 Tony brothers was originally stronger than that of 4 Eyes. Now that they have added so many new subordinates, their strength has been greatly expanded. 4 Eyes' territory in Mongkok only has 1 street, and there are only 4 people under it. Hundreds of younger brothers are not that powerful a force. In order to establish their authority, the 3 brothers almost went out in full force this time. Thousands of people versus hundreds of people. There was no suspense in the first place. In addition, they were calculated mentally and unintentionally. Moreover, the 3 Tony brothers are very good at fighting, and 4 Eyes is no match for them. To describe it as breaking down at the first touch, it is considered a compliment to 4 Eyes. The real situation is that when the younger brother of 4 Eyes saw that the 3 Tony brothers had brought so many troops, when they came to grab the territory, many of the younger brothers ran away almost immediately. After all, the territory belonged to the boss and had little to do with them. In such a disparity situation, who would be willing to go up and die? In less than a night, the 4 Eyes the street announced that it had changed owners. 4 Eyes himself was caught by his younger brother and brought to Tony. When 4 Eyes was delivered, Tony was sitting on the sofa in the red bar that originally belonged to 4 Eyes, eating a steaming bowl of instant noodles. Tony, everyone is just doing it for a living, there is no need for you to do things so brilliantly, right? The bound 4 Eyes glared at Tony and said, When you first came to Mongkok to plant the flag, if I hadn't seen your brothers as pitiful and took great care of you and didn't drive you away, where would you be today? Now that the wings are hard, are you going to do this to me? Hee hee. Tony, who was eating instant noodles, let out a 2.0 sneer. The place we occupy has no bar, dance hall, and no business. There is no value in occupying it at all. Even the villa we use as our home base was bought with real money. What does it have to do with you? Speaking of this, Tony took a bite of noodles and seemed to remember something. By the way, speaking of care, if I remember correctly, the villa we bought back then is yours, right? It's more than the market price. It's 30% taller. Also, that time we cheated and swallowed other people's goods, I heard that it was you who told the other party that we did it, right? And about Ah Shen's business, I heard someone said you were doing some tricks behind the scenes. As Tony told one thing after another, Xian's face became more and more ugly. Those things were indeed done by him behind his back, because he couldn't stand these outsiders who came to Hong Kong Island to compete with them for food, not only for the 3 Tony brothers, but also for the big boys from the north. In terms of xenophobia, he has managed to treat everyone equally. You said so much, what exactly do you want? Xian said. After Tony finished the last bite of noodles, he stood up and came behind Xian and leaned in his ear and whispered in his ear. I used to be Yuan to help you exclude foreigners. I don't care about you. Now I am with Lian Sheng. Hall Master, of course I want to fight for territory for the club, so I will send you away first. After saying that, Tony took out his gun, pointed it at the four-eyed head and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Boom! After a gunshot, Four Eyes fell down on the sofa. Their eyes that had lost their luster were still staring in the direction of Tony, with an expression of unblinking eyes. After dealing with official business in Lianxing Main Hall's tea house for a long time, Chen Heilong finally understood why this old ghost like Uncle Deng liked to stay here every day. The tea house is located in a busy city, but it is quiet in the bustle. It has mountains and rivers behind it, and a wide view. Even if you put aside the feng shui theory, it is a good place to handle corporate affairs, relax and retire here. Chen Heilong usually handles his own affairs in the warehouse or his villa, but official affairs related to Lianxing will basically be handled at the main hall tea house. After all, the meaning of this tea house is different. It is just a tea house residence, but it is already the main hall of Lianxing invisibly. Even though Lianxing is just a club, all kinds of trivial matters are no less complicated than those of large group companies. The difference is that large groups have various departments to handle various things, but in the club, Chen Heilong needs to handle all kinds of accounts. Check this out in person. After all, the employees of the group company are legally bound and do not dare to act randomly. But how can the club members care about the law? It is Lianxing's tradition to sit in the office to check the accounts, which is to act as a deterrent to the people below, but generally as long as it is not too much, everyone turns a blind eye. When Chen Heilong was looking through the club's accounts for this month, John Meetsy came up from downstairs. Boss! What's up? Tony and the others have recently been grabbing land in Mongkok, causing quite a stir. Some small groups are dissatisfied with their current behavior and are already making noises outside. Do you need to ask Tony and the others to restrain themselves a little? John Meetsy asked. Unnecessary, Chen Heilong said. Tony is now the leader of Lianxing Mongkok Hall. It is understandable that he needs to recruit troops to expand his territory. After all, the entrance to the hall must look like the entrance to the hall, and it cannot be the same 2 or 3 big and small kittens as before. Don't pay attention to those small groups. Since they are hanging out on the road, it is normal for them to be beaten. If they don't accept it, beat them back. You go and tell Tony that he needs money to give money and people to give to people, so just go ahead and do it. Now he is no longer alone. Behind him is a century-old brand and Lianxing. My only request is that he can help me stabilize his position in Mongkok, so that the newly erected hall will not be overthrown by others. When word spreads, there will be no need to lose face to Lianxing. I was the one who lifted him up, he was a loser, and there was no place for my God of Wealth Dragon's face. Yes, boss. John Meetsy nodded. At about the same time, in Taipei Bay, in the Jianhe Association Villa, Lu Jian was drinking coffee and holding a large English classic. 29. He was not pretending to hold this book, but he was really read the content carefully. Before becoming the president of the Health Federation, he also participated in the local gangsters, but those gangsters were more xenophobic than those on Hong Kong Island. He was not involved at all. We can't mix up. Due to some historical legacy, the clubs in Wanwan are divided into local gangs and gangs from other provinces. The largest and most famous gangs from other provinces are Sanlian Gang and Songlin Club. The backbone of these 2 gangs came from the mainland back then. Before they came here, there were no large-scale societies in Wanwan, and most of them were local gangsters. Most of these gangsters were gangs organized by some powerful local gentry, although they also collected protection fees and smuggled goods, selling contraband and so on, but strictly speaking, it is not the same as the nature of society. They have a relatively harmonious relationship with the neighbors in their area. They generally only move around the area where they live and rarely expand to the outside world. Lu Jian, since he was not from this province, he would not be reused if he joined the gangster forces. Later, he hooked up with a gangster and shot a gun in a busy city. He was deliberately arrested by the police and taken to Green Island to squat for a few years, where he got to know some big shots. He has achieved what he has today. It was during the communication with those big shots that he realized his own shallowness. He didn't understand the meaning of the slang and famous phrases that people just picked up, so since he was released from prison he completely bid farewell to his original image. In addition to reading these classics every time he has free time, he also wears a suit and tie and drinks red wine, looking like a high society person. Not only does he do this, but he also requires the younger brothers below to do the same. And if his subordinates want to get ahead, they must have knowledge. They must have abilities that are difficult for others to match, or they must have high academic qualifications. Otherwise, they cannot even think of getting high positions. Even the craziest Ahwai among his subordinates is from a first-class university. Graduated top students. "Brother, the batch of goods we ordered has arrived at the port." Bai Mao Abad came over to report to Lu Jian. Hearing this, Lu Jian took off his glasses, rubbed the bridge of his nose, and said to Abad, "Bring me the phone." "Yes, boss." Although Ahwai is extremely crazy in front of outsiders, he respects his boss very much. No matter what Lu Jian says, he will execute it meticulously. He is Lu Jian's most loyal confidant. After receiving the phone call from Ahwai, Lu Jian called Johnny Wang called over there. "Johnny, my goods have arrived at the dock. If it is convenient for you, come to my place and I will take you to see my goods." "Okay, Boss Lu, I'll be there in an hour." Johnny Wang was eating before he received the call. After hanging up the phone, he immediately called Scar and a few younger brothers to go with him to the headquarters of the Jianhe Association. After arriving at the villa where the Jianhe Association was located, the white-haired Abad came again. The attitude of the people who received them was still as crazy as ever, mixed with a hint of neurosis. "Boss Lu." After Johnny Wang saw Lu Jian, he greeted him politely. "Sit." Lu Jian poured a cup of coffee for Johnny Wang unhurriedly. "We are old friends. Although we have cooperated many times, you have never seen my strength. I just want to take you to take a look this time. If I don't have what you need now, you can place an order and I promise to get it for you." "Okay." Johnny Wang nodded. During this period of time, he was almost anxious to death from staying in Wanwan, but Chen Heilung's pursuit order has not been withdrawn yet. He did not dare to leave Wanwan at all. At least there is still a place in Wanwan. He was protected by the National Health Association. But if he went out of Wanwan, the safety issue would be difficult to determine, so he had to get a batch of firearms first. Only when he had powerful firearms could he dare to go out and go to Malay. Although Chen Heilung was only in a pursuit order has been issued on the Hong Kong Island Road, and the intensity is not very strong. However, there are countless smugglers in Southeast Asia who want to curry favor with Chen Heilung. If he dares to show his face openly, he is waiting to be arrested and taken to Hong Kong Island. Take credit for it. Now that Lu Jian's goods have finally arrived at the port, he is even more anxious to see the goods than Lu Jian. Johnny Wang and the little brother he brought along still took their own car and followed Lu Jian's motorcade drove towards the outskirts of Taipei. The Health Association's headquarters is about 30 or 40 kilometers away from the port, but Johnny Wang's car followed him for a while, and Johnny Wang realized that something was wrong with the road. It's not like he has done nothing in Wanwan these days. He has been to the port terminal, passenger terminal, and airport many times, so he is quite familiar with the road conditions nearby. Originally, after getting on the XIN5 road viaduct, they should have turned to the Guanyin Mountain Tunnel, but the car leading the way got off the highway and turned onto Mini Road, driving all the way towards the mountains. Scar, who was sitting in the passenger seat, studied the map in his hand and rushed to Johnny Wang said, "Boss, they are going in the wrong direction, could they be cheating?" When Johnny Wang heard this, he thought for a moment and said, "Don't think too much, Lu Jian is very powerful here. If he really wants to do something to us, there is no need to go through such a big circle, he can subdue us directly in the villa." Hearing this, Scar thought about it and thought it was right, so he said nothing more. The place Lu Jian brought them to was indeed not the dock, but the place where he stored the arms. From the outside, the place where he stored the arms looked like there were a large number of containers stacked inside the industrial park. After a group of 4 or 5 vehicles drove into the park, they came to a warehouse. At this time, there was a large forklift transporting containers at the door of the warehouse. After a few people got out of the car, Lu Jian rushed Johnny Wang said, "Johnny, among these containers, which color is your favorite, and what is your lucky number?" Although Johnny Wang didn't understand why Lu Jian asked him this, he still responded, "I personally prefer green, and the lucky number is 3. "Okay." Lu Jian nodded, turned to Abad and said, "Did you hear that? Let the forklift pull down the 3rd green container for me, counting from right to left." "Yes, boss." As Ah Huai's order came out, a green container was soon forklifted in front of them and put down. After the container was opened, there was a container full of wooden boxes stacked inside. Ah Huai directed his younger brother to lift a few casually out of them. Pry them open one by one in front of Johnny Wang and others. M4A1 carbine. The main battle weapon of the American Army. Different aiming devices can be installed according to needs. It has a caliber of 5.56 mm and has the characteristics of long range, strong lethality, and high rate of fire. At 4. Tank rocket launcher can launch rocket armor-piercing projectiles, rocket grenades or other rockets, used to attack tanks, armored vehicles, infantry fighting vehicles, armored personnel transport, military equipment and destroy fortifications at close range. This rocket launcher is a single-use weapon that is preloaded and discarded after shooting. It is cheap and powerful. It is thrown away after use. Stoner 86 light machine gun. The machine gun frame is made of stainless steel and carbon steel, and other parts are made of high-strength aluminum alloy. All parts are wear-resistant and anti-corrosion. The gun adopts the long-stroke gas piston working principle and the bolt rotary locking mechanism. The Beretta M92F pistol fires 9mm pistol bullets, has a total length of 217 mm, an empty gun weight of 0.96 kilograms, a muzzle velocity of 333.7 meters/second, and an effective range of 50 meters. The gun's grip is entirely made of aluminum alloy, which reduces weight. The double-row magazine has a capacity of 15 rounds. The trigger guard is large, making it easier to shoot with gloves. In addition to these, I also have armored vehicles and other things here, but those can be sold in Southeast Asia, and only in the Golden Tripod area. If you buy them in other regions, you don't dare to use them. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Lu Jian patted Johnny Wang on the shoulder and said, "But if your business reaches that level in the future, you can also contact me. As long as you have needs, I'll find a way to meet your request." The variety of weapons on Lu Jian's side is eye-opening for arms dealers like Johnny Wang. It is precisely because he is an expert that he understands that some weapons are not as easy to use as outsiders think. Like these light weapons, and so unfortunately, not everyone can get such ruthless things as armored vehicles. I won't be able to use those ruthless weapons for the time being, but I do need a batch of these light weapons. You also know that I am going to Malay to start over, and I will inevitably have conflicts with the original arms dealers, so the first batch of weapons needs to be more intimidating," Johnny Wang said. Hearing this, Lu Jian smiled and said, "This is simple. I'll equip you with a grenade launcher later. It's much more powerful than a small pistol, and it's not very easy to use. It's enough for you." So loud. "Thank you, Boss Lu. You have helped me a lot this time." "You're welcome. You are my old customer. I must help you. I will send you a list of goods later. Just fill in what you need. Then give me the shipping address and pay a 30% deposit. Cash on delivery. Balance payment." "No problem." On the way back, Johnny Wang said to Scar excitedly, "Let the brothers below prepare. We will set off to Malay in the next 2 days to reopen the market there." "Yes, boss," Scar responded. The next day, when Lu Jian was drinking coffee in the garden of the villa, Abad came over to report. "Boss, Johnny Wang has sent a list of requested goods. This is what they want." Lu Jian took the folder handed over by Abad and looked it over carefully, and found that Johnny Wang's goods were really quite large, and that guy was worthy of being the owner of the arms business in Hong Kong Island for so long, and he knew what kind of goods he had ordered. Things will be more popular. For example, Johnny Wang did not choose a few weapons and equipment that are powerful, destructive, and shocking. The limited single-digit demand on the list seems to be prepared for their own people. On the contrary, Johnny Wang chose a lot of pistols and the like that are not too powerful. The reason is very simple. His customers are all gangsters or gangsters. Most of the guns they buy are mainly to scare people, and they are not easy to buy. It's so good at using it. And in a street fight, if you take out a handful of black stars, it may scare the person on the other side, but if you take out a Gatling, 433 will most likely be regarded as a toy by the opponent, and it will not have a deterrent effect at all. When selling arms in the city, pistols sell better than long guns, and long guns sell better than high-power weapons. And most importantly, the profit from selling pistols is also higher. A pistol that costs a few hundred yuan can be sold casually. Thousands and tens of thousands are not a problem, and there are also follow-up bullets, which is also a steady stream of income. This Johnny Wang is a talent. Since he needs these, let's allocate them to him. Lu Jian returned the folder to Ah Huai. But after Ah Huai took the folder, he did not leave in a hurry. Instead, he said to Lu Jian with an inexplicable look on his face, "Boss, I heard that the Hong Kong God of Fortune Dragon vs. Johnny Wang, the Jianghu Fatwa has not yet been revoked." When Lu Jian heard this, he turned around and looked at Ah Hui. "If you have anything to say, just say it. You don't have to play this trick in front of me." "Yes, boss." Ah Huai put away his hesitant attitude and said seriously, "When Johnny Wang escaped from Hong Kong Island, I heard rumors from the church that when Lu Jian left Hong Kong Island, the God of Wealth Dragon asked Uncle Hai to give him 100 million as compensation. Combining the food, accommodation and transportation conditions of their group during this period, as well as the quantity of this order, I think they should have at least about 200 million. They are on our territory now. How about we take advantage of them and devour them directly?" Lu Jian glanced at Ah Hui when he heard this, and said calmly, "Why do you have such an idea? Don't tell me that it's just for the little money they have. Letting them go to Malay can make more money for me. Why should I do this kind of thing?" "Because of the God of Wealth Dragon." Ah Huai said, "Boss, haven't you always wanted to do the smuggling business? Now this is an opportunity. If we can get in touch with Qianlong, with the other party's power in Southeast Asia, we can start this business immediately. Although the Jianhe Association is quite powerful in Taipei, it really doesn't pay attention to the smuggling business. It mainly deals with arms and number 4 boys. But sitting in the Fengshui treasure land of Wanwan North Gate, they have no regard for the smuggling business. It's false to be unmoved, but the problem is that the smuggling industry in the entire Southeast Asian waters is now almost entirely led by Chen Hailung. Because of Chen Hailung's suppression of the Black Wolf King, the Southeast Asian waters are now much safer. New smugglers have entered the game. Although he no longer has to bear the risk of encountering pirates in the past and his safety is greatly guaranteed, he still needs to pay Chen Hailung a high sea crossing fee based on the smuggled goods. Lu Jian once calculated this account. If he paid in terms of sea tolls, although the smuggling business is still profitable, compared with his existing business, it is not of great significance, so he has been hesitating whether to do this business. But now after hearing Ah Huai's words, Lu Jian a gleam flashed in his eyes. A distributor with an unknown future and a friendship with a smuggler. Which one is more important? Anyone who is not stupid can tell. Lu Jian briefly reviewed the benefits that Johnny Wang could bring him in the future and the benefits that could be gained from establishing a relationship with Chen Hailung, and then made a choice immediately. "Ah bad, you invite Johnny Wang to come over tomorrow. He is leaving soon. I will also see him off." When Ah Huai heard this, he tilted his head and understood what his boss meant. He was a notoriously bad boss. He responded with a sinister smile. "Okay, boss, I'll do it right now. Go give him a call." After leaving the garden, the white-haired bad guy took out his phone and called Johnny Wang. When he received the call, Johnny Wang was arranging for his younger brother to pack his luggage. They had already booked the air tickets and were flying to Malay the day after tomorrow. They used the new identity provided by Lu Jian. Seeing Ah Huai's call, Johnny Wang thought it was the list he submitted that needed to be adjusted, so he quickly picked up the phone. Is there something wrong with the list I submitted? Mr. Johnny, you misunderstood. Our boss heard that you were preparing to leave Wanwan, so he specially asked me to invite you to come to our place. Our boss wanted to give you a farewell. The bad guy on the other end of the phone said. Boss Lu is too polite. Please tell Boss Lu that I will be there on time tomorrow. Johnny Wang said politely. Okay, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. While Johnny Wang continued to arrange for his younger brother to pack his luggage, in the He family manor in Haojiang across the strait, He Xian and Gui Yingnan were sitting in the garden drinking tea. Not far from them, He Tian'er he was pushing his mother for a walk in the garden, laughing like silver bells from time to time. Looking at the scene of the mother and daughter talking and laughing, Gui Yingnan said with emotion, It feels like yesterday Tian'er was still around my feet asking for sweets every day. The little girl who eats has grown so big in the blink of an eye, and it suddenly makes me feel like I am really old. It's fine if others say so, but forget it. He Xian smiled and poured 2 cups of tea, one for himself and Gui Yingnan. Don't think I don't know. Yesterday, you went to the Venetian Hotel to pick up 7 or 8 young girls and played with them all night long. If you are still old, then there are not many people in the world who dare to call themselves old. Young. You kid, you keep staring at me every day. Gui Yingnan laughed and cursed. It's not that I'm staring at you, it's just that I happened to hear someone mention it. Your reputation is not small here in Haojiang. There are not a few people who know you. That old boy Niao Tian told you that. Gui Yingnan curled his lips and said, That old guy's bad habit of chewing things behind his back has not changed. You have to talk to him. The last few times I've been here, I found that the guy's hands are stretching longer and longer. It feels like he's already connected to you. They don't take it seriously anymore. Niao Tian is the general manager of the Lisboa Group, but his status is indeed a bit unusual. When He Xian founded the Lisboa Group, this guy contributed a lot. Part of the credit for the Lisboa Group being able to reach the scale it is today belongs to him. Before he helped He Xian, he was quite famous in the gambling circles of Hong Kong and Haojiang. Although He Xian relied on various means and connections to obtain a casino license, he did not have much in-depth research on gambling. And casinos like this in this place, if there is not a skilled gambling expert in charge, sooner or later he will be used as a cash machine. He Xian invited him to join the team just to let him control the place. Not only did he give him the position of general manager, he can also get a salary every year, a huge amount of dividends. But human greed is endless. No matter how much you give, you will still want more. Especially after the fall of Mo Luobing, Niao Tian had some other thoughts. He became more and more dissatisfied with He Xian's control, and there was a slight tendency to go out on his own to fight against others. There were many conflicts and quarrels with He Xian. That guy feels like his wings have become stiff now. Depending on the situation, it won't be long before he falls out with me. How could he still listen to me? He Xian sneered. Then what are you waiting for? Since the old guy refuses to obey your control, find someone to kill him once and for all. Do you still have to wait for him to ride on your head before taking action? Gui Yingnan said with a stern look on his face. If you can't do it, I'll find someone to do it. I don't know who gave him the food and why he keeps it. Hearing this, He Xian frowned and fell into deep thought. Before he could think clearly and reply, He Tian'er heard a loud greeting from over there. Dad, Uncle Gua, it's time to eat. He Tian'er's shout interrupted He Xian's thinking. Let's talk about this later. Let's go eat first. Don't keep my sister waiting. He Xinqiang smiled at Gui Yingnan. All right. Gui Yingnan raised his eyebrows and stood up. While they were going to eat, in the underground warehouse of a casino in Haojiang, the Black Panther King in a black suit was looking through the loan contract in his hand. There were several people standing around him. Upright Black Panther servant. De Tu Biao, the gambling debt you owed from us has been overdue for 2 months. When are you going to pay it back? After reading the loan contract, the Black Panther King raised his head and looked at the man in front of him with dead eyes. Brother Bao, please give me a few more days of grace. I'm a little tight on money recently, and I really have no intention of not paying it back. The big head mark kneeling on the ground begged. Whether you are tight on money or not has nothing to do with me. I only know that you owe us and Lianxing money, a total of 3 million with principal and interest. I must see this money within 3 days. What? Hearing this, the big ticket exploded immediately. I asked you to borrow 2 million, and you asked me to pay back 3 million in just 2 months. Your interest rate is a bit too bad. It was clearly stated at the beginning that the profit was 1 penny per month, but the 2-month profit with principal and interest was only 2.4 million. Yes, this is indeed the interest rate, but you haven't paid a dime of interest in the past 2 months. The interest compounded plus the late payment penalty for default, the total is 3 million. If you don't know how to calculate, you can take a look. The contract is clearly written in black and white. The reason why Haojiang Casino makes money is that in addition to the commission from stacked chips, the other main source of income is loan sharking to gamblers, and they also follow a very formal contract for this. If they only look at the interest, although the interest rate of 1 penny per month is much higher than that of banks, it is not high in casinos. In casinos with a slightly darker heart, borrowing money will always come back 9 times out of 10. If you dare not repay it for a year, the interest will be high. It got to the point where it was impossible to repay. But even so, the big header was still a little unwilling to accept it. Brother Bao, your rules are a bit too overbearing. I just paid off the interest later. There is no need for it to increase to this level. In this way, if you give me another week, I can collect 2.5 million. I'll give it back to you. The extra 100,000 yuan will be used as a treat for me to drink tea with Brother Bao. Please be accommodating. De Tubio can be regarded as a gangster leader in Haojiang. He has dozens of subordinates and is very familiar with the rules of the world. In his opinion, there is nothing wrong with his way of handling it. He just needs the Black Panther King to be a little accommodating. He can get 500,000 less, and the Black Panther King can get 100,000 personally. As for the accounts with Lianxing, no one can see it if the time is slightly changed. After all, there is not a penny less in the accounts. The money that should be repaid was paid back with interest. Even if some bosses knew it, they would turn a blind eye. As long as no one's interests were lost, the bosses would turn a blind eye when the people below sometimes used their positions to make a little money. He owed money and couldn't make money for a while, so he always dealt with it this way. Anyway, he didn't lose anyone. But it was a pity that what he met today was the Black Panther King. With the Black Panther King's loyalty to Chen Heilun, he couldn't do it at all. It's impossible to mess with him. I said, within 3 days, I must see 3 million. Not a single penny is missing. The Black Panther King unbuttoned his coat as he spoke. Black Panther King, everyone is hanging out in Haojiang. Why don't you even give me this little face? The big head mark said with eyes. Bang! It's a pity that he responded with a sharp whip. That kick directly knocked the big mark out. Hang this guy up! The Black Panther King ordered. After hearing this, the Black Panther servant next to him immediately found a rope, tied the big head's hands directly, and then hung it in the middle of the basement. Not long after the big head was hung up, after a while, he woke up from his coma. After discovering his current situation, he immediately shouted in horror. King Black Panther, what are you going to do? Boom! The Black Panther King didn't answer. His legs bounced on the ground a few times, and then he jumped up and whipped his leg to hit the big head mark. Ah! The severe pain made the big head scream, but this time, under the deliberate control of the Black Panther King, he did not faint. After a whip kick, another kick knocked the big head down. The Black Panther King's legs were like 2 whips whipping the big head mark repeatedly, and the force was controlled so that the big head mark was in agony without fainting. After a while, the big head mark was whipped. His whole body was covered with scars, and he kept vomiting blood in his mouth. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. 3 million, within 3 days, any questions? The Black Panther King, who retracted his legs, asked coldly. Okay. The beaten and dying figure still dared to say no at this moment. Even though he was about to faint from the pain, he still managed to reply. He didn't know how many bones in his body had been damaged by the other party. The whip was broken, and I just felt the pain all over my body. I had to go to the hospital quickly. Okay, put him down! Hearing the Black Panther King's order, the Black Panther servants on both sides immediately released the ropes and lowered the Big Head Mark. The badly injured Big Head Mark could no longer stand up. As soon as it landed on the ground, it was like he was paralyzed on the ground like mud. The Black Panther King was not polite to him. He directly picked up the bucket with ice cubes next to him and poured it on Big Tu Biao. The biting cold feeling made Big Tu Biao wake up a little. In 3 days, if I don't see you sending 3 million, it won't be as simple as hanging you up and beating you, the Black Panther King said coldly. I understand. I will raise money immediately when I get back today and sell everything I can. I will definitely raise all the money. Tu Biao, who was still vomiting blood in his mouth, hurriedly responded. He was also aware of the pain at this moment. With his status, how could he have the courage to owe Lianxing an account? After all, Mo Luo Bing's lessons learned from the past are still there. He just wanted to discuss whether he could pay back less through loopholes, but unexpectedly he received such a severe beating. The next day, over at Wanwan, Johnny Wang got up early, put on a brand new suit, and prepared to go Jian. He will attend his farewell banquet. After having more contact with Lu Jian's people during this period, it has also had a subtle influence on him. The most intuitive one is the dressing style. In the past, he also liked to wear suits and other things, and bought them. They are all luxury brands such as Prada, Burberry. But those suits are made according to the body shapes of European and American people. They are wide on his body. Although it does not drag down the image, it does not improve it much. This time I saw, after seeing the clothes worn by those in the health club, he felt that this was the style that suited him. Strictly speaking, the suits worn by those in the health club were old-fashioned British style, and the leather shoes, pants, shirts, vests and jackets were all tailored and matched. It can magnify the advantages of the wearer's figure. Johnny Wang is from Hong Kong and likes the British style the most. After seeing Hunter, he also spent money to customize a suit for himself in Wanwan. I went to say goodbye to Lu Jian today. Wearing such an outfit can be regarded as a sign of respect for Lu Jian. On the way to the Jianhui villa, Johnny Wang said to Scar with emotion, "This time we come to Wanwan, thanks to Lu Jian's helping hand, otherwise we would just be afraid we're in a lot of trouble. As a partner, I have nothing to say to him for reaching this point. He knew that we were going to leave, and he still wanted to give me a farewell. After we have established a foothold in Malay, we must remember to remind me to prepare a copy for Boss Lu. A big gift is coming. Clear?" Scar nodded with deep sympathy. At the beginning, he was very cautious about the Jianhe Association, for fear that they would accidentally be tricked by Lu Jian. After all, Chen Heilung's influence was there. Who could? I can't guarantee whether Lu Jian can be trusted. But after getting along with each other for such a long time, even the most alert Scar has gradually relaxed his vigilance. Just like Johnny Wang said, if the Jianhe Association wants to do something to them, there are plenty of opportunities to make a move, and there is no need to play those frivolous things. In addition, they will leave Wanwan tomorrow, and Lu Jian helped to figure out the new identity, and there is not much vigilance against him. Arrive at Jianhe. After arriving at the villa, the person who came to greet them was Ah Huai with white hair. "Mr. Johnny, please come inside, our boss has been waiting for you for a long time." Ah Huai tilted his neck, bent down, and spread his hands to make an invitation. "Sorry, Boss Lu." Johnny Wang nodded and walked into the Jianhe Association villa with Ah Huai. He originally thought that Lu Jian would hold a farewell banquet for him, which would probably be in the garden or living room of the villa, or else he would set up a table outside. He took Bai Mao and took him around to the warehouse behind the villa. To go to the warehouse, you have to take a special elevator. Perhaps for the convenience of transporting goods, The door of the elevator is not an automatic door, but it's an old-fashioned side-sliding fence door. When you go upstairs and open the door, you can see goods piled on the roof everywhere. These goods are tightly tied with special sacks. From the appearance, it looks a bit like things like textiles. Ah Huai, who saw his confusion, took the initiative to explain. This is the goods used by our health association to disguise ourselves. After all, we import and export goods every day, so we need, hello King Nuo, something to put here. Just put on a show and face the inspection. When Johnny Wang heard this, he nodded and didn't ask any more questions. After turning a few corners along the passage vacated among the piles of goods, he saw a relatively empty place with several items placed in the open space. At first glance, it looks like a valuable leather sofa. There is a table in the middle of the sofa. Under the light of the table lamp next to it, it looks quite interesting. Come on, Johnny. Lu Jian, holding a glass of red wine, greeted him. I've been waiting for you to come. Johnny Wang took 2 steps quickly, stepped forward and said politely. Boss Lu is so polite. I came here to cause you a lot of trouble this time. I will definitely repay you if I have the opportunity in the future. Why are you talking about this? We are all brothers. We should take care of each other. Lu Jian patted his arm and said, Sit down and talk. After the two sat down, Lu Jian said to Ah Huai, Let's serve the food. Johnny Wang originally thought that Lu Jian would treat him to a big meal, but he didn't expect that what Ah Huai finally served was just 2 bowls of ordinary braised pork rice, and he couldn't help but feel a little dazed. And Lu Jian was not polite to him. After the meal was served, he picked up the bowl and started to devour it, as if he was eating delicacies from the mountains and seas. This braised pork rice was made by the proprietress of my favorite shop when I was young. She also had a very cute little girl. At that time, I had nothing and I chased her to death. Now I have everything, but someone else is married. This is my fate. If you don't seize the opportunity when it appears in front of you, then if you look back and try to seize it, you won't have that opportunity. Since Johnny Wang became the boss and made a lot of money, he has eaten a lot of delicacies from the mountains and seas, but he is really not interested in things like braised pork rice. And he always feels that Lu Jian seems to have something in his words today, so he has always been interested. Chopsticks pick. Johnny Wang has always believed in his hunch, and this hunch has saved his life countless times. So when he saw Lu Jian feasting on a bowl of braised pork rice and talking about opportunities, he felt something was wrong, and secretly wanted to quit. It's just that he is at the Jianhe Association's home base at the moment, and it's not convenient for him to do anything to cause misunderstanding. He could only wait for Lu Jian to finish eating. The bowl of braised pork rice was devoured by Lu Jian and quickly reached the bottom. What, isn't this braised pork rice to your liking? Lu Jian, who put down the bowl, raised his eyes and looked at him and said, I suggest you try it. Once you miss this delicious food, you will have no chance to eat it again. Thank you, Boss Lu, for your hospitality. It's just that I can't eat these because of my religious beliefs. I hope you can forgive me. Johnny Wang wasn't sure if there was anything wrong with the braised pork rice, so he found a lame but reasonable excuse for himself. Sorry, I was negligent. I should have asked the people below to prepare 2 bowls of beef noodles if I had known earlier. It doesn't matter. If Boss Lu has nothing else to do, I'll take my leave now. I still have a lot of things to pack over there. I'll contact you after I get to Malay. Johnny Wang said. I really appreciate Boss Lu's protection during this period. When I gain a foothold in Malay in the future, I will definitely thank Boss Lu very much. Thank you very much? How heavy. Well, Johnny Wang was just being polite, but he didn't expect Lu Jian to actually ask the question, leaving him at a loss as to how to answer. It seems that Mr. Johnny hasn't thought about it yet. I have a proposal here. I wonder if Mr. Johnny is willing to accept it? Lu Jian smiled and said, I'd love to hear more about it. As long as I can do it, I'll definitely do it. Others may not be able to do this, but you will definitely be fine. Lu Jian smiled and said, Johnny, I think Malay is not a suitable place for you to go, so I ask you to stay in Wanwan. Hearing this, Johnny Wong's expression suddenly changed, and his face became a bit gloomy. Boss Lu, what do you mean by this? Just the literal meaning. Lu Jian spread his hands and said with a smile. I recently wanted to cooperate with Kai Shilong in the smuggling business to make more money, but you happened to have a conflict with him again, and I heard that you came from Hong Kong Island this time and brought a lot of money with you. It's hard not to keep me still. If I'd put you in my position, I would definitely make the same choice. I think you should be able to understand it. Our Jianhe Association has a big business and needs money everywhere, so we can only wrong you, Johnny. I understand shit. What the hell do you want to do? Do you want to take advantage of others? Lu Jian, I have been working with you for so many years, and this is how you treat your partners? Once the news gets out, let's see who else is willing to cooperate with you in the future. At the same time as he cursed, Johnny Wan had already quietly touched the place where the gun was placed on his waist with one hand. Now that Lu Jian has 233 said this, it is almost impossible to leave unharmed. Johnny Wang has been in the arms business for so long, so he certainly has the courage to risk his life, so he plans to risk his life to win. If he is lucky enough to hijack Lu Jian, it would be best. Even if he cannot hijack him, he still has to give him a few hard blows. This is the way the Jianhe Association does things. Haha, our Jianhe Association is inherently bad. As for whether anyone will cooperate, you don't have to worry. It's a pity that you don't have a chance to see it. Fuck you. Bang! Johnny Wan yelled and just stood up, when he received a sap blow from the white-haired Ah Hui on the head. The blow was accurate and hard, causing Johnny Wang to fall straight to the ground and fainted. After Johnny Wang fell to the ground at the same time, Scar, who came with him, was also controlled by Ah Hui's men. Scar's reaction was actually very fast, but because the boss was talking, it was impossible for him, the younger brother, to stand aside and listen, so he kept a distance. It was a bit far away, and he didn't know what the two of them were talking about. When he saw Johnny Wang getting up and touching the gun, he realized that something was wrong, but Ah Hui's subordinates had already been prepared, and before he could move, several guns they hit him on the head at the same time. Although Scar was very skilled, he had no choice but to admit defeat when he was held up by so many guns at once. Ah Hui, who knocked out Johnny Wang, didn't even care about his subordinates subduing Scar. The process, he was not interested in that little person at all. What he cared about was Johnny Wang lying at his feet. The white-haired Ah Bad poked the unconscious Johnny Wang with the stick in his hand. Tilting his head with a look on his face, he smiled crazily and said to Lu Jian, "Boss, this guy couldn't help but hit him a little bit. I didn't even try hard, and this guy fainted. Could it be that he was faking it? Do you want me to give him a few more hits? Okay, he's still useful, just tie him up. Don't be so anxious. There are plenty of opportunities for you to torment him slowly. Let the people below kill the little brother he brought here first. Then you go interrogate this guy and take all his money out of his mouth," Lu Jian said softly while holding a glass of red wine. "No problem, boss," Ah Hui said with excitement on his face. "But let me do the job of killing the boys he brought. There are a few guys I have long disliked. Ah Hui's madness is caused by taking too much contraband. After Wei Ning eats too much, he will have some mental problems. Specifically reflected in him, he likes to obtain pleasure through violent means. Lu Jian knows that he has. He waved his hand and said, "Go ahead, don't delay your business." "Don't worry, boss, it won't happen." With a crazy smile on his face, Ah Bad came to the door of the villa and knocked on the window of the car driven by Jeb, Johnny Wang's men. Johnny Wang came this time, and in addition to Scar, he also brought for this little brother. These little brothers are a little dissatisfied with Ah Hui's virtues. Even if they can't do anything because of the reputation of the Jianhe Association, the eyes they look at Ah Hui can't be said to be friendly. "What's up?" Johnny Wang asked as he rolled down his car window. "Our boss gave you a lot of gifts, so we need you to get out of the car and help move them." Hearing this, Johnny Wang's boys didn't have much suspicion. After all, they had been to this place more than once or twice, and nothing happened every time, so they didn't have much precaution. The four boys got out of the car. He asked Ah Huai, "Where is the thing? Come with me." Ah Huai, with his neck crooked and a strange smile on his face, led the four of them into the villa. As soon as they entered the door, the men who were ready behind the door used steel pipes to break the legs of the four of them. "Don't move, let me do it!" At the same time as Ah Huai spoke, he picked up the decorative copper ornaments in the foyer and smashed them on the heads. He had his subordinates helping him, so Johnny Wang's younger brothers were naturally unable to resist and were directly dealt with. After a long time, he was beaten to death with ornaments. "It's so enjoyable. You guys clean up this place. I'm going to deal with their boss." After killing Johnny Wang's younger brother, Ah Huai went to the warehouse with a grin and interrogated Johnny Wang. There was a special torture room in the warehouse of the Jianhe Association, which was filled with various torture tools. Hui, the person who uses these tools the most is Ah Huai, and he made several of them with his own hands. "What the hell are you going to do? Where is Lu Jian? Get that bastard out!" Johnny Wang, who was tied to the crossbar, had a look of horror on his face. He didn't expect to be killed by Lu Jian. "My boss is busy and has no time to talk nonsense with you, so I have to let me entertain you. I wonder what kind of torture device you like?" At this point, Ah Huai patted his forehead and said, "I'm sorry, I forgot that you may not be able to recognize these things, so I'll introduce them to you. This pliers may not look small, but it is very easy to use for pulling out nails. I will give you a try and you will know." With that said, Ah Huai picked up an exquisitely shaped pliers from the table, clamped Johnny Wang's nails, pulled them back hard, and made an ear-piercing sound. Ah! More than 2 hours later, after torturing Johnny Wang in every possible way, Ah Huai, covered in blood, came to the living room of the villa. Lu Jian, who was reading a book with a cup of coffee, saw him coming and asked casually, "How is it? The guy told me? Boss, this Zunuwang has a very tough mouth. He had to pull out all his teeth before I could honestly reveal his Rushi bank account password." As Ah Huai spoke, he took out a blood-stained note and handed it to Lu Jian. Lu Jian glanced at the note and did not reach out to pick it up. Instead, he continued to focus on the book in his hand. "This is just go and do it. Transfer the money to our account, and call me a bio." "Yes, boss." Not long after Ah Huai left, Ah Biao came to Lu Jianjian's side. "Boss." Compared to Ah Huai, Ah Biao's image is more like the traditional gangster look in Europe. The well-fitting and straight suit on him makes him look extra tall and straight, and his hair is meticulously gathered at the back of his head like a samurai head, especially those eyes are full of fierce expression. "You will take people to kill all the younger brothers that Johnny Wang brought to Wanwan later. Those younger brothers who can follow Johnny Wang all the way here must be die-hard younger brothers, so don't leave any hidden dangers." "Got it, boss." The boys brought by Johnny Wang all live in a mid-range hotel in the suburbs of Taipei. This hotel is also Lu Jian's property. In order to accommodate them, the hotel did not receive other guests during this period. All the people living in it were Johnny Wang. There were more than 30 younger brothers who came to Wanwan with Johnny Wang. Because of their comfortable life in Wanwan during this period, they were completely unaware of the danger. Abayo and his younger brothers drove 2 cars when the commercial vehicle arrived at the hotel. Johnny Wang and his men were still gathering in the hotel restaurant for dinner. After confirming with the boy in the hotel that Johnny Wang's men were all in the restaurant, he took the gunman upstairs directly, opened the door, and opened fire. Da-da-da-da! After a burst of gunfire, most of Johnny Wang's unsuspecting men fell to death in an instant. The remaining ones who were lucky enough to survive had no time to launch a counterattack, so they were called out one by Abayo, who rushed in and shot each one in the head. After killing everyone, Abayo took the photo list and compared it with the corpses one by one to confirm that all Johnny Wang's men were here, and then asked his subordinates to pack up all the corpses and destroy them. A few days later, Chen Heilung took his younger brother and a bunch of young models to the sea for a party on a yacht. He had just purchased the yacht. There is a yacht club not far from the door of his villa in Repulse Bay. It is so unique and convenient. conditions, not buying a yacht would be a waste of such a good location. His yacht is different from the small yachts of 10 or 20 meters parked at the yacht club. It is a giant customized from the yacht manufacturer. It is an astonishing more than 100 meters in length, and has 8 floors. Deck, office, private living room, cinema, gym, swimming pool and other luxurious facilities. In addition, the ship also has 2 helicopter landing pads and a swimming pool more than 20 meters long. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Each time it is started, the crew alone requires more than 10 or 20 people. Otherwise, there is no way to control this big thing. It is not so much a yacht as a yacht. Small cruise ship. Playing on such a big thing is no different from flat land unless you encounter particularly big waves. Yachts represent a status symbol to a certain extent on Hong Kong Island, and a yacht as big as Chen Hailung's is a reflection of prominence. Many young models have to work hard to get on this yacht to attend parties. After Chen Hailung played with the warblers and swallows for a while, he went to the top deck and lay down on the beach chair, drinking juice and enjoying the pleasant sea breeze. Not long after he took a nap, Jimmy took a smaller yacht to the side of the big ship and boarded the big ship through the gangway. This slightly smaller yacht was also purchased by Chen Hailung in the same batch. Chen Hailung also has 3 or 4 other small yachts of the same type. "Where is the boss?" After Jean Mitzi boarded the ship, he asked the beast servant who was responsible for Chen Hailung's security. "The boss is resting on the top deck." Jean Mitzi responded and went to the top floor alone. When he arrived, he saw that Chen Hailung was still taking a nap, so he didn't come forward to disturb him, and waited quietly. After about a quarter of an hour he woke up. Chen Hailung saw Jean Mitzi waiting nearby, and while looking at the turbulent sea, he asked, "What's going on?" "Boss, this is some information sent from Wanwan." "Wanwan?" Chen Hailung looked a little puzzled. He doesn't have any business in Wanwan now, and he doesn't know what kind of information can be sent from Wanwan. He took the information with a trace of doubt, opened it, and took a look, and it was surprising that it was a photo of Johnny Wang and his henchman Scar being killed. The death of Johnny Wang in the photo was extremely miserable. Not only were his arms and legs broken, but there were various scars on the body. It looked like he was probably beaten to death. Who sent this?" Chen Hailung raised his eyebrows and asked expressionlessly. "A gang called the Jianhui in Taipei, Taiwan, was the group that provided arms to Johnny Wang. A phone number was sent along with these photos," Jean Mitzi replied. Chen Hailung, who had some knowledge of Johnny Wang's business, naturally knew that the source of Johnny Wang's arms was the Jianhui Association. Later, even when he found out that Johnny Wang ran away and went to Wanwan, he didn't care. When the Jianghu pursuit order was issued, it was just a show for Uncle Hai, and there was no in-depth investigation. Otherwise, how could Johnny Wang survive until now? It was just the asylum that Johnny Wang sought in the past, but in the end he was killed with a backhand. I sent him the photo, which made Chen Hailung feel a little interesting. "That's interesting. Give me your number." "Yes, boss." After Jean Nazai heard this, he took out a note from his pocket and handed it to Chen Hailung. Chen Hailung took the number handed over by Jean Nazai, picked up the phone next to him, and dialed it. "I am Chen Hailung." After the call was connected, Chen Hailung reported his family background. "Hello, Mr. Chen, I have long admired my name. I am Lu Jian, the president of the Health Association. You must have received the photo sent to you by the trustee." "I have received the photo." "What do you think this means?" "This is the meeting gift I sent to Mr. Chen. I heard that Johnny Wang offended Mr. Chen in Hong Kong Island and ran away to hide in Taipei. It happens that our health association still has some energy in Taipei. I know this after this incident. He was killed as a meeting gift to Mr. Chen. The other party must have a purpose for sending his distributor as a gift." Chen Hailung didn't bother to talk nonsense with him, and asked directly, "I don't know what I have here that Mr. Lu needs. I heard that Mr. Chen is doing a lot of smuggling business in Southeast Asia. Our health union has also wanted to start this business recently. I wonder if there is any chance for our 2 countries to cooperate." At the same time Lu Jian said this, a system task prompt came in Chen Heilung's mind. System task release. Cooperate with Lu Jian. Mission completion reward. Talent photographic memory. Hearing the task released by the system, Chen Heilung responded directly and casually. Of course. The arena is not only about fighting and killing, but also about human relations. The Jianhe Association killed Johnny Wang just to give him Chen Heilung face. Although Chen Heilung didn't care much about whether Johnny Wang died or not, someone helped him solve it. After all, it was all about his face, and he had to give the other party some face. Besides, doing business together was a profitable thing for everyone. Even if there were no tasks issued by the system, he had no reason to refuse. Hearing Chen Heilung's willingness to agree, Lu Jian on the other end of the phone showed a smile and replied, I don't know when it is convenient for Mr. Chen. I will visit Hong Kong Island to discuss the details of cooperation. No need to go to such trouble. I will send the Black Wolf King to contact you. He can fully represent me. You can just discuss the specific cooperation details with him, Chen Heilung said. If Chen Heilung had sent someone else to talk to him, even if Lu Jian didn't say anything, he might have complained a little in his heart, thinking that Chen Heilung was a little contemptuous of them. But the Black Wolf King is different. The Black Wolf King is in Southeast Asia. The prestige of this sea area has already frightened the surrounding pirates. Even the regular armies of some small countries will shy away when encountering the Black Wolf King. The pirates who make a living in the waters of Southeast Asia may not know about He Lianqing, but it is absolutely impossible not to know about the power of Qianlong. This general is the name of the Black Wolf King. The weight of Chen Heilung sending the Black Wolf King was enough, so Lu Jian would not be dissatisfied. After talking to Lu Jian, Chen Heilung called the Black Wolf King. The Wolf King is currently training his men on an island in Southeast Asia. As Chen Heilung's smuggling business grows bigger and bigger, the demand for personnel is also increasing. Now he is training more than just gangsters and black wolves. There are many servants and dwarf mules deployed from Hong Kong Island. After all, the number of gangsters and black wolf servants alone cannot cope with the growing demand. Although there are many gangsters at sea, not all garbage is collected. After his strict screening, it would be good if 2 or 3 of the 10 gangsters caught were left. Most of the others were thrown into the sea and fed to fish. If the Black Wolf King is not cruel enough, he will not be able to scare them away. So many fierce people. And the Black Wolf's servants and younger brothers are even rarer. They are currently a bit stretched to be the leader, let alone others. Fortunately, there are a lot of short meals in Hong Kong Island who want to make money, and there are not enough people to follow them. Hong Kong Island I transferred from there. But smuggling is very different from ordinary running boats. You can't get on the boat casually. You have to at least learn how to bypass the marine police. Although they are not afraid of the marine police, but when there is no need for confrontation, it is natural to avoid conflicts. In addition, there are threats from pirates and some colleagues. If there is not enough fighting power, there will be no fight. After boarding the ship, they will deliver food to people's doors. So after newcomers arrive, they need to undergo a period of rigorous training before they are qualified to board the ship. Wolf King, a call from the boss. The Black Wolf servant's younger brother came over with a satellite phone and said, Boss! The Black Wolf King took the phone and greeted. You take people to Taipei, Taiwan, and the health union there wants to cooperate with us. You go over and talk to them, and the share ratio is the same as other partners. Got it, boss. A week later, Taipei Tam Sui Fisherman's Wharf. Lu Jian took the white-haired Ah Huai, the braided brother Ah Biao, and a group of boys, driving a dozen luxury cars and waiting at the pier. Ah Huai was still as virtuous as ever. With his head tilted, the neck looked cynical and unruly. Boss, do we need such a large formation to welcome us? It's not like the god of Wealth Dragon is coming in person. Even if Wealth Dragon doesn't come in person, we can't lose our etiquette. After all, it's our first time working together, and first impressions are very important. In addition, in the smuggling business, we need to rely on the power of Wealth Dragon, so there is no harm in lowering our posture. Lu Jian glanced at him and warned, "Remember to temper your temper later, and don't do anything to provoke misunderstanding." "Got it, boss." Ah Huai curled his lips and said. Although Ah Huai agreed with his mouth, he didn't take it seriously in his heart. Their health association is used to covering the sky with one hand in Taipei, and they don't look down on other associations at all, even with Lianxing reputation. Outside, but after all, it was on Hong Kong Island, across a strait from them, so naturally he didn't care. While they were talking, a cargo ship slowly approached the dock. "Boss, the ship has arrived!" A Biao, who had been silent all this time, reminded. After hearing this, Lu Jian got out of the car, straightened his clothes, and headed towards the dock with his little brother. After the freighter docked, the Black Wolf King took the Pig King with him. Scarface waited for the gangsters to disembark. As soon as they stepped onto the road, the murderous aura that hit their faces made the people on the Jianhe Association's side breathless. Although the Jianhe Association engages in arms and sells contraband, after all, they are just making a living in the city. The club usually just bullies ordinary people and fights bravely with other clubs. Even if some people have lives on their hands, they are incomparable to those killer embryos under the Black Wolf King. In terms of the number of lives in their hands, the Black Wolf King led this time. The men who came here would pick out anyone at random, and no one from the Jianhe Association could catch up with them. The white-haired bad guy who was so unruly before now seemed to have encountered a natural enemy, and he no longer showed any frivolity. It wasn't just him. Even the smile on Lu Jian's face was a little stiff at this time. He has been in the world for so many years, and he is better at understanding people than younger brothers like Ah Huai. He only heard about the reputation of the Black Wolf King before, and didn't think anything of it. But only when you have face-to-face contact can you feel the sense of vigilance that arises involuntarily from the bottom of your heart. This is just like ordinary people watching tigers. When they see them on TV, no matter how ferocious the tiger is, they will not be afraid. But wait, only after seeing live animals up close at the zoo can you feel how ferocious the tiger must be. If there is no fence between the tiger and the tiger, at least half of the people will have cramps in their calves and fear from the bottom of their hearts. Although Lu Jian was not at that level, he could still smell the strong smell of blood from these killing embryos licking blood from their knife edges, which made him somewhat uncomfortable. "Hello, Mr. Lu, I am the Black Wolf King." The Black Wolf King stretched out his hand to Lu Jian and said, "Hello, Mr. Black Wolf King." Lu Jian shook hands with him and said, "I'll prepare some thin wine here to catch the wind and wash away the dust for you. Please move over and let's chat while eating. Mr. Lu is so polite." This time, in addition to the 20-odd gangsters who came with the Black Wolf King, there were also more than a dozen Black Wolf servants and younger brothers. Fortunately, Lu Jian and the others came over and drove several commercial vehicles, otherwise they would not have been able to do this. People. A group of people drove into the city from the pier and arrived at the most famous Din Tai Fung restaurant in Taipei. In order to choose a suitable restaurant for the Black Wolf King, Lu Jian took great pains this time. After all, a big boss like the Black Wolf King, even if he is floating on the sea every day, but with the support of Lianxing, there will be no shortage of various supplies, and he has never tasted any delicacies from the mountains and seas. Therefore, he uniquely chose Din Tai Fung. This restaurant is extremely famous and was once featured in New York. The Times has rated it as one of the top 10 gourmet restaurants in the world. However, the dishes sold in the restaurant are not delicacies from mountains and seas. They are all Taipei's famous specialty snacks. The most famous among them is their Xiaolong Bao. They are the first to sell steamed buns. To create a standardized store, take the production process of the signature Xiaolong Bao as an example. The production process is broken down into 4 steps. Each step has corresponding precise standards. The operator of the next step is also the quality inspector of the previous step. Each steamed bun weighs 21 grams, and the error is controlled at about 5 milligrams. Each steamed bun is operated according to the standard process of 5 grams of skin, 16 grams of filling, 18 pleats, and steaming for 4 minutes before serving. With this professional process, their table turnover rate has reached a record high of 19 times a day, with more than 100 groups of customers standing outside the door waiting for tables at most. But no matter how many customers there are, it will not affect Lu Jian's success. A local gangster, with his strength in Taipei's underground society, Din Tai Fung didn't dare to offend him. With just one phone call, he booked the entire second floor to entertain the Black Wolf King and others. Since this place is considered a public place, no business was discussed during the meal. Related matters. After dinner, Lu Jian took Black Wolf King and others to the villa at the headquarters of the Jianhe Association before officially discussing cooperation matters. Brother Heilung has already explained in detail, whether it is what you want to smuggle out or what we need to smuggle. After deducting the cost, the profit will be divided into 40 and 60. We will be 6 and you will be 4. If you agree, we will cooperate. If you don't agree, there is no need to waste time, the Black Wolf King said. After hearing this condition, Lu Jian just thought about it for a moment and nodded in agreement. After all, the smuggling business is different from normal trade. Generally, there is no need to worry about the sales of goods that need to be smuggled. Chen Heilung is not only responsible for the source of goods but also for the transportation. Taking 60% of the profit is not excessive, but very fair. And even if he only takes 40%, as long as he smuggles enough goods, his profit will still not be low. Here is the list of goods we can provide. If what you need is not listed above, you can also ask. The list of goods that the Black Wolf King took out was more like a phone book than a list. The 32-carat booklet was more than an inch thick. The moment he saw the list, even Lu, who had always been indifferent to emotion and anger, the corners of his eyes twitched uncontrollably. List of goods. The brochures are very exquisitely printed, better than those produced in many shopping malls. Some special goods or luxury goods are also equipped with pictures to intuitively and clearly show the shape of the goods. The relevant content is also summarized very clearly. Different categories of goods belong to different areas. You can quickly find the goods you need through the previous catalog. After reading through it, Lu Jian felt that it was an eye-opener. Before, he thought that Chen Heilung could make the smuggling business so big only because his men were tough enough. Now it seems that it is not only the force factor, but also the services provided. After he read it, he gave the catalog to Ah Huai and a Biao to look through and select what goods needed to be smuggled in. If you want to read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Wanwan is no better than Hong Kong Island, and many things will be subject to high tariffs, especially luxury accessories. These products, which are mainly targeted at female customers, are extremely easy to sell in Wanwan, and Ah Huai and others mostly choose this kind of goods. After adding up all the details, the total order list finally handed over to the Black Wolf King was as high as 100 million Hong Kong dollars. This made the Black Wolf King take a high look at Jian Hui. Being able to place such a large order for the first time made him feel that Jian Hui was pretty good. However, all the money used by the Jianhe Association to smuggle the goods this time was actually collected from Johnny Wang, and the Jianhe Association's funds were not used at all. After the two parties negotiated the deal, the Black Wolf King said goodbye and left. Including the mealtime, they stayed in Wanwan for less than 8 hours. The sun had just set when they arrived in Wanwan, and the sun had not yet set when they left. The horizon rises. The Black Wolf King, who returned to the island by boat, waited until daybreak before calling Chen Heilung. "Boss, the deal with the Health Federation has been negotiated. They want a total of 100 million worth of goods this time. I will have the list of goods they need sent back to Hong Kong Island later." When Chen Heilung, who was having breakfast, heard this, a system task completion prompt came to his mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the system release task and cooperating with Lu Jian. Get rewarded with the gift of photographic memory. Hearing the prompt from the system, Chen Heilung said to the Black Wolf King, "You can just contact Zhang Mitzi later on this matter and leave it to him to arrange it." "Yes, boss." Hung up the phone, Chen Heilung finished his breakfast slowly before heading to the study. He asked the beast servant's younger brother to guard the door and ordered no one to enter without his permission. He entered the study alone and locked it. Behind the door, Chen Heilung began to accept the system task reward. As soon as the reception began, Chen Heilung felt a slight swelling and pain in his eyes, but this process was very short, unlike some previous infusion processes, which hurt him to the point of death. It lasted less than 2 minutes. After the swelling and pain, a cool feeling rushed in from the eye sockets, and there was a numbness in the eyes and the back of the head, as if there were countless little hands in the head. It was like a relaxing massage, giving him a sense of elation. It still took half an hour, and the talent infusion was completed. Qianlong only felt that his memory had become extremely clear at this moment. He glanced around the room, and even with his back turned, he could retrieve from his mind the location of the inconspicuous little ornaments in the room. What the angle looks like. Looking through the ledger on the table, he sighed secretly at his new talent. After reading a ledger and closing it, I can clearly remember the page and line of each item in it. This ability has greatly improved his work efficiency. The accounts that usually took half a day to handle took less than half an hour today. While I was enjoying the new talent test, the landline phone on the table suddenly rang. "Which one?" Chen Heilung answered the phone and asked. "Boss, it's me, the Black Panther King. What's the matter?" "He Xian wants to meet you. He will hold a yacht party in Haojiang in 3 days. He will ask you to meet him privately at that time. It is best not to be known to outsiders." "Yacht club? Meeting in private?" These two requirements made Chen Heilung slightly confused, but he had a good impression of He Xian, and there was no conflict of interest between the two parties, so he was not worried that He Xian would set up a trap to trap him. After thinking for a moment, he called the Black Panther King on the other and said, "Please reply to He Xian and say that I will arrive on time." "Yes, boss." 3 days later, He Xian held a yacht party in Haojiang as scheduled. He Xian's yacht was called Fugui Maru. It was said to be a yacht, but it was actually a cruise ship. It not only had a swimming pool, a sauna, etc., but also 3 casinos, lounge, 2 bars for restaurants, and more than 100 guest rooms. It can be seen from the configuration of this ship that He Xian's yacht is functionally equivalent to the yacht Chen Heilung just purchased. There is a big difference. Chen Heilung bought the yacht for his own enjoyment, while He Xian's yacht was used as an investment and also functioned as a maritime casino. After all, in addition to Haojiang, the surrounding ports gambling is prohibited on the island and other places, so the role of this ship is self-evident. Because Chen Heilung came secretly according to He Xian's request, he did not drive his own yacht, but took the He Lang King's freighter to approach He Xian's Fugui Maru. After that, he quietly boarded the ship. After boarding the ship, he followed the room number given by He Xian and arrived at the presidential suite on the top floor from the bottom floor. Only then did he finally meet He Xian. "Mr. Chen, I'm really sorry to have you come to meet me in this way." "I'm really sorry." He Xian apologized to Chen Heilung, poured 2 glasses of red wine, and handed 1 cup to Chen Heilung. After Chen Heilung took the red wine, he took a sip and didn't ask any more questions, waiting for He Xian's next words. "I came to you this time because something happened within our Lisboa group. One of my former partners, Niao Tian, the general manager of Lisboa Group, has become more and more outrageous. Not only does he want to exclude me gradually, many foreign mercenaries have also been hired from overseas, making the entire Lisboa Group a mess. Even my whereabouts are now being watched by many people." He Xian said this with a wry smile on his face. "This is why I asked you to meet here and asked you to come here in secret." Chen Heilung had received some rumors before he came. After all, there is only such a distance between Haojiang and Hong Kong Island. Many community members in Hong Kong often go to Haojiang Casino to gamble, which is no different from going to the back garden. He Xian, both Niao Tian and Niao Tian are well-known figures in Haojiang. One is the chairman of Lisboa Group and the other is the general manager of Lisboa Group, which is equivalent to the first and second in command. The two of them started fighting among themselves, and the noise could not be ignored. With Chen Heilung's current information network, he had already gotten the news, But he didn't expect that He Xian had already fought with Niao Tian to such an extent, and even invited the batch of foreign mercenaries has reached the point of starting. I know that you are very powerful in Southeast Asia and the Golden Tripod generation. I came to you this time just to get your foreign aid. This time, I will kill Niao Tian. He Xian looked at Chen Heilong with a ruthless look in his eyes. Since He Xian became the chairman, he has basically been cleansed. He doesn't have much involvement in the affairs of the world, but it doesn't mean that He Xian is really clean and can get it. One of Hao Jiang's gambling cards, He Xian is also a ruthless character. After hearing He Xian's words, Chen Heilong was not in a hurry to answer. Although his impression of He Xian was good, it was only good. Regardless of Hao Jiang's victory, in fact, it doesn't have much to do with him, because whether Niao Tian takes over or He Xian becomes the final winner, it will not affect his income there. After all, no matter which of the two controls the Haojiang casino in the end, the previous gambling hall still belonged to the original contractor. This is the basic foundation of the casino and the rules of the world. However, He Xian did not have any fluctuations because he did not speak. The world is like this. No one is willing to go to things that are not profitable. Yes, Chen Heilong did not express his refusal, so he showed his attitude and could continue the discussion. Now, all he needs to do is to show his chips. As long as you are willing to help me deal with Niao Tian, after killing him, I can persuade the director of the Gambling Association to release a gambling card. Although Haojiang's gambling 157 lottery industry has a large market, vested interests such as the Portuguese officials and He Xian who control Haojiang have passed legal regulations to prevent disorderly competition from harming the market. Casinos with regular licenses are legal places. There are currently only 2 gambling cards in the entire Haojiang. One belongs to Yulankan and the other belongs to He Xian. The function of this game is much more valuable than the operating rights of the casino. The reason why He Xian and Yulankan became Haojiang gaming tycoons was because they had gambling licenses in their hands. No matter how fierce the quarrels made by Mo Luo Bing before, it was just for the right to operate the gambling hall. To put it bluntly, they were the senior people below the tycoons. Wage earners. No matter how fiercely you fight, it will not affect the absolute status of the tycoon. It can be said that only by owning a gambling license and becoming the 3rd gaming tycoon in Haojiang can you have the power to share the cake at the table. Otherwise, in no matter how prosperous the gambling hall is here in Haojiang, they are just eating the leftover soup of others. It is difficult not to make Chen Heilong's heart beat under these conditions. However, the current Chen Heilong is not a fledgling, and he will not do it because of He Xian's words. A simple promise, with enthusiasm. After all, there are more than 1 or 2 coveters in the gambling card game. Many powerful multinational groups also want to get a gambling card. Even Haojiang officials dare not make an informal decision casually, otherwise it will only cause anger. Although the conditions you gave are good, there are not only 1 or 2 people who care about gambling cards, so how can you guarantee that I will be able to get it? Chen Heilong said softly. You don't have to worry about this. Haojiang gambling licenses generally use public bidding. Although there are definitely not a few participants, I am the president of the Haojiang Gaming Association. I will give you the official base bid when the time comes. In this case, come on, you have no reason not to win the bid. At the same time as He Xian said these words, Chen Heilong's mind came with a system task prompt. System mission released. Cooperate with He Xian to kill Niao Tian. Mission completion reward. 100% loyalty of 30 tiger servants and 25 black bear servants. Hearing the task issued by the system, Chen Heilong no longer hesitated and nodded to He Xian. In that case, I wish us a happy cooperation. Happy cooperation. When He Xian said these words, the hidden sorrow in his eyes dissipated a little. Later, a very inconspicuous small yacht slowly approached He Xian's cruise ship. Under the cover of the night, the yacht his approach did not attract anyone's attention. Just as he had come, Chen Heilong stepped onto the yacht and left the Haojiang waters without anyone noticing. Returning to Hong Kong Island, Chen Heilong called the Black Python King. Black Python King, get ready, take all your Black Python servants with you and follow me to Haojiang for work." "Yes, boss." The Black Python King nodded. A beast brother like him who was summoned by Chen Hailung never asked about the reason. As long as Chen Hailung ordered them, even if they were allowed to die, there was no hesitation at all. The next day, Chen Hailung the Black Dragon took the Black Python King and 60 Black Python servants to the Haojiang River by boat. Each of these young men had bulging waists, and they were obviously hiding under their clothes. When they got off the boat and landed, they were stationed at Haojiang. Jiang's Black Panther King has been waiting here with a large number of his men for a long time. Parked behind them are more than a dozen luxury cars, the most conspicuous of which is the bulletproof extended Lincoln in the middle. "Boss," Black Panther King Chen Hailung said respectfully. Chen Hailung responded lightly and boarded the extended Lincoln in the middle of the motorcade under the escort of the Black Panther King. After the group got on the bus, they drove towards the He family manor at the southern foot of the Haojiang River. At this time, He Xian was at his home dinner at the manor with my wife and daughter He Tian'er. "Dad, is Brother Hailung really coming to our house?" He Tian'er's eyes have been shining ever since she overheard her father telling her mother that Chen Hailung would come to Haojiang in the morning. She had asked the same question at least a dozen times in the morning. That's right. Even after answering more than a dozen times, He Xian still didn't have any impatience with his daughter. "Your Black Dragon brother has reached an agreement with me. He will help me deal with Niao Tian and will live in our house for a while. As for He Tian'er, He Xian doesn't have much to hide. An environment like theirs will not raise their children to be ignorant white lotus flowers. Although He Tian'er is simple, it doesn't mean that she doesn't know about her family situation she is facing. However, He Tian'er is not too worried about the challenges faced by her father. In her eyes, her father is omnipotent and can calmly solve whatever problems he encounters, not to mention that this time there is her brother Hailung comes to help. When will Brother Black Dragon arrive? Should. Just as He Xian was about to speak, the housekeeper hurried in from outside to report. "Sir, Mr. Chen's motorcade has almost arrived at the manor." With He Xian's strength, even if he was challenged by Niao Tian, he still knew everything about Haojiang. As soon as Chen Hailung got off the boat, the people below reported the situation. After the housekeeper got the news, he came over to report to He Xian. Haojiang is not that big, and it only takes 20 minutes to drive from the pier. When the housekeeper came to report, Chen Hailung had already traveled more than half the distance. Hearing this, before He Xian had time to speak, He Tian'er jumped up first. "Black, has my brother arrived? I'll pick him up at the door." After saying that, he hurried out the door. "This girl." He Xian smiled bitterly, shook his head, and said to his wife, "Let's go to the door to greet him too." "That's right, they are here to help you, we can't lose our etiquette." When He Xian pushed his wife to the gate of the manor, Chen Hailung's motorcade also arrived. Seeing Chen Hailung get out of the car, He Tian'er immediately rushed into Chen Hailung's arms. "Brother Hailung, didn't you say will you come to Haojiang to see me? Why haven't you come here for so long?" In front of He Xian, being thrown into his arms by his daughter made even Chen Hailung feel a little embarrassed. "Your parents are watching behind you. Do you want to let go of your hands first?" Chen Hailung lowered his head and whispered in He Tian'er's ear. The tingling sensation in his ears and his uncontrollable performance just now made He Tian'er come to his senses after a while, and a trace of blush immediately appeared on his face, and he was very busy. He loosened his arms around Chen Hailung. But He Xian, as if he didn't see his daughter's performance, pushed his wife to Chen Hailung with a smile on his face. "Mr. Chen, thank you for your help this time." "Mr." He was polite. After the two exchanged a few words, He Xian asked the housekeeper to arrange accommodation for the people brought by Chen Hailung. The reason why Chen Hailung was arranged to live in his own manor was also the result of their discussion. After all, Niao Tian had already he is so crazy that he hires mercenaries from overseas. There is no guarantee that he will not launch an attack on the He family manor. Although He Xian also has many subordinates, those subordinates can only deal with the gunmen of the society. When they encounter professionals like mercenaries, Most of them it was the fate of being beaten. Although with the Xian's financial resources, he could also hire a large number of mercenaries to protect himself, but he had never been very confident about the kind of people who used money to do things. Niao Tian spent all his energy to bring him down. All in all, he has lost the first move now, and hiring mercenaries also takes time. It is even harder to guarantee that Niao Tian will not mix sand into it. What's more, compared to mercenaries, Chen Heilong, who knows everything about it, is undoubtedly more trustworthy. The arrival of Chen Heilong immediately caused an uproar in Haojiang. Haojiang was not that big in the first place. The news of his arrival spread throughout Haojiang in less than an hour. Now in Haojiang, even if he is not a gangster, he knows that Niao Tian and He Xian are fighting each other. So powerful, at this juncture, Chen Heilong brought people here and even moved into the He family manor, clearly coming to help He Xian. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilun Novel Network. Although Niao Tian hired a lot of mercenaries, but Chen Heilong had already proven his strength in Haojiang before. For a while, all the big guys in Haojiang were waiting to see the next actions of He Xian and Niao Tian, and warned their subordinates one after another to let the people below live in peace recently. Please don't mess around, so as not to get angry. On the other side, in the general manager's office of the Lisboa Group, when Niao Tian was dealing with the matter at hand, his boss Dadong knocked on the door and came in. Seeing the solemn expression on Dadong's face, Niao Tian frowned. He frowned. What happened? Boss, the god of wealth dragon from Lianxing has come to Haojiang. The name of the god of wealth dragon doesn't mean much to Niao Tian. Although he has heard about what Chen Heilong did in Haojiang, he also knows that it was Chen Heilong who killed the once arrogant person in Haojiang, Mo Luo Bing. However, at the time when the incident occurred, he was working in San Francisco, a beautiful country, and was not in Haojiang. He did not personally experience what happened at that time, so he did not really feel Chen Heilong's reputation in Haojiang, even if he knew that Chen Heilong now controlled half of Haojiang's underground society. He didn't really care. In his perception, Chen Heilong is just a gang member. No matter how powerful he can be ruthless. It's not like he has never had any dealings with these gang members before, so he is somewhat unable to get on the stage. But now He Xian has made a move, and he has to deal with it. Although the mercenaries killing embryos are useful, they are used as trump cards to turn the table and are generally not suitable for use. After thinking for a moment, Niao Tian said to Dadong, "Go and contact Bing Yaju and ask me to meet with him. He congratulated Xian Nung on finding the god of wealth dragon, so I will find Bing Yaju and use the society against the society." "Yes, boss." After Dadong left the Lisboa casino, he quickly contacted Xiao Liao, Benjiaju's right-hand man. "Mr. Liao, my boss, Mr. Nye, would like to meet with the boss of Benjiaju first. Is it convenient? I'm not sure about this. I'll ask the boss before I get back to you." The little guy on the other end of the phone wrote. "Okay, please, Mr. Liao." After hanging up the phone, Xiao Liao turned to look at Bing Yaju, who was sitting next to him, and said, "Boss, it's the call from Niao Tian's side. He wants to make an appointment with you." Hearing this, Bing Yaju curled his lips and said, "That old guy named Nye asked me to meet at this time. What can he do? Just reply to him directly and say that I have something to do in the past 2 days and I won't be in Haojiang anymore. I'll definitely pay him a visit when I get back." He received the news of Chen Heilong's arrival in Haojiang earlier than Niao Tian. He was the one who experienced the whole process of Mo Luobing's downfall. He knew very well how ruthless Chen Heilong's methods were and how powerful he was. He Xian and Niao Tian, he had no intention of participating in the fight between the two big guys, and now that Chen Heilong was in the game, he was hiding as far away as possible. Anyway, no matter who wins the fight, in the end the casino will still have to rely on his junket operators to help maintain it. He won't lose anything, so why bother to drown in this muddy water? Moreover, he is not optimistic about Niao Tian. Although Niao Tian has found some mercenaries, in his eyes, they are far inferior to those under Chen Heilong. Bandits are more intimidating. After the Mo Luo Bing incident, Bing Yaja secretly investigated Chen Hailung's power in Southeast Asia by looking for connections. It was better not to investigate. Only after this investigation did he know how strong is Chen Hailung in Southeast Asia. Not only does Jin Sanjiu have a base, but he also controls the smuggling routes in Southeast Asian waters. The number of pirates who died under him is not only 800 but not 1,000. There are also several islands on the sea as bases. They are even more warlords than warlords. Although the mercenaries are powerful, they are rootless. This really annoys Chen Hailung. He can always send people from the island or Jin Sanjiu. If the two sides really fight, it is hard to say whether Chen Hailung can win. But Nye Aotian will definitely die. If He Xian sends someone, maybe he will consider it and forget about Nye Aotian. Xiao Liao's opinions this time are completely consistent with his, and the message was just spoken casually. After Benjaiju's reply, he waited for about half an hour and called Dadong back. How about it? When will Benjaiju have time? As soon as the call was connected, Dadong 4.8 on the other end asked. I'm really sorry. My boss has not been in Haojing these 2 days. I called him just now and he said he would definitely pay him a visit when he comes back. Dadong is not a fool. After listening to these words, he will understand what Benjaiju means. However, it is hard for him to say anything when people say nice things. Okay, let's wait until Benjaiju comes back. After making the call, Dadong returned to the general manager's office to report to Nye Aotian. How about it? Have you made an appointment with Benjaiju? When will he come over? Nye Aotian raised his eyes and glanced at him. He continued to lower his head and busy with the matter at hand. At the same time, he asked casually. Mr. Nye, Benjaiju refuses to meet us. Dadong said with an ugly face. Reject? Nye Aotian raised his hand and asked in confusion. What is the reason that makes him dare not even see me? It should be related to the God of Wealth Dragon. I guess because this incident involves the God of Wealth Dragon, Benjaiju is unwilling to interfere with it. Dadong also witnessed the whole process of Mo Luo Bing's downfall, so he can probably understand Bing Yaju's thoughts. After all, Chen Hailung can kill Mo Luo Bing with force, and he can also kill him Bing Yaju. People are not willing to get involved in this muddy water. Also normal. This God of Wealth Dragon has such great intimidating power, can it scare Benjaiju to this extent? Nye Aotian frowned. Dadong didn't know how to answer when he heard this. After all, what he said was serious, and it would inevitably make others' ambitions destroy his own prestige. However, Nye Aotian didn't expect him to answer anything. After thinking for a while, he frowned and said, Then let's just stay put and see what He Xian does. In addition, let those foreign mercenaries hide and don't show their faces easily. The foreign mercenaries he hired at a large price this time are to be used as weapons at critical moments. In addition to being visible, there are also some who are hiding in the dark. In the Lisboa group these years, He Xian firmly suppressed him. In his opinion, his contribution to Lisboa group's success was greater than that of He Xian. Why has He Xian always been the boss?